call, correct? You're here. That's what's so great. And also, it's really important to know the hero type that you're dealing with. This absolutely enriches your presentation. You know, are they reluctant? Are they an ascension hero, loss and redemption, revenge, underdog, or discoverer? You know, everyone has some discovery or discoverer in them. So you can come in with, hey, I just made a great discovery. That people love that. Okay, that's a great way to lead in. And then as their story unfolds in the conversation that you have with them, you can start to add in more words that will resonate with the other heroes that you pick up on, the other type of hero, I should say.
Yeah, I want to give you a recruiting tip right now of something that you want to do today to 2 or 3 people. Okay. Just do this, Carl. Okay. Just do this. Right. Just do this, Peter. All right. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to say to somebody, your wife, your kid, whatever you're going to say, I just found out.
Yeah.
And they'll say, what? What did you just find out? So that's the look, Geraldine. You drop something or you reach down and scratch your leg or pat the dog, and you come up and you go like this. And they'll say, what? What did you just find out? And this will sell you on the point that the discoverer, which is you, needs to arouse their curiosity. Try it out on your husband. Try it out on your wife. Try it out on a friend. Try it out at your church meeting or whatever. But do it 3 or 4 times and say, I just found out, and just notice their physical reaction when you come up with this dead look. What did you just find out? I just found out how to get $100 tax rebate every week from the government. If you want to know anything about it, just ask me. I just found out, this is a great recruiting technique, but don't worry about that. We'll give you those later. But what's important is you want to see this thing. And it's happened to me my whole life. I just found out. And even though I've told you, you're still wondering what I'm going to say next. I just did it to you, and I told you I was going to do it to you. Okay? This is Hero's Journey. In this case, you're the discoverer. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Fantastic.
Okay.
No, I love that. It's so true. It's fun. Okay. So let's have proof of your heroism. Why did you join you join your company or become an entrepreneur? And by the way, why did you attend to come here this week and put in all this time? Was it, I love the product? B, our scientists can beat up the scientists at other companies. Our pay plan's the best on the planet. Or there you go. You guys already know this. You wanted a different outcome, time and money wise, right? That's hope. That's what you're offering to others. That's also your job. Okay. So enrolling for prospects, that is the call to adventure. In other words, the call to step from the life they currently know into a whole new life that they dream of. Okay. Into the different outcome. For you, enrolling is both a responsibility as well as an opportunity to build a team. And it's truly an honor to do that when you build this way. It truly is. Answering the call is not enough. Okay. You've got to know what kind of hero or what type that you're dealing with, what you're working with, and mostly understand your role as a helper and a mentor. And that's going to switch sometimes. Sometimes you're more in a helper role. Other times you're mentoring. Gotta know.
So the second key to the fault was out of the book, The Influencer. If you try to build a team and you don't have this book, you'll never build a team to anywhere near the potential that you could. Don't write it down if you're not going to buy it, and don't buy it if you're not going to read it. Okay. When I first read that book, I said, if I had this book 5 years ago, I would have made 4 to 5 times as much money in half the time. Anyway, influence is a difference between influence and persuasion. Great influencers focus on a key behavior, not results. They reward the correct behaviors. Correct behaviors always create predictable results, just like incorrect behaviors always create predictable results. Build your presentation so they influence their core motives, their hope. What does hope mean? I got this from the great Annie Feinstein. who flew all the way from New Jersey to visit with us on Kauai, her and her husband, David. And she confessed to me that she was embarrassed that after 7 years, her network marketing group was only 80,000 people. There's a champion. And she became the best student that we've ever had. And I wondered what that was all about. And it was, she actually believes that she can help other people evolve and knew that she could do better. And so I stole this from Annie Feinstein, who was sponsored by Randy Gage. Quite a pair they are. Pervasive situations, presentations are just slow converting. Okay, it's a salesy pitch. What makes great influencer? How do influencers, what do they know? Well, they focus and measure. They're crystal clear about the results they want to get. So they decide the behavior that'll create that result. We improve what we measure. And you saw Jimmy, Lauren, Elena, they monitored and measured, which is why they improved. I work with them personally, and I help them because it's a 3-step plan. Step 1, we strike interest, sort, and book of all. Step 2, we present. Step 3, we collect the decision, which means there's 3 places it can break down. So that's that spreadsheet we showed you, okay? They monitored, and because they were monitoring, I was able to go in like a surgeon just that has an x-ray. I knew where they fell down or where they needed to improve. And if you're anything like me, it was all 3 areas, Mandy, okay? But anyway, it doesn't matter, right? We lead by example so we can show reps, and this is presenting beautifully exactly what to do. And we're not asking them to do something that we're not doing, okay? Number 2, identify the vital behavior or behaviors, never more than 2. They focus on high leverage behaviors that drive results. What did we do? The setup, when we enrolled people, we told you this the other day, and I did this in both my direct sales companies that Davian and I run, as well as networking when we did that, okay? Color code, build a list with them, schedule a time for 3 ways, never get off the phone without scheduling the next session. They don't need to know anything else. Everything else is a distraction because there's 2 voices in their head. This is going to be incredible. It's going to change my family. I'm finally going to be a winner. You're an idiot. This shit never works. You're going to be a loser. Everybody's going to laugh at you. I'm going to be a champion. You're going to be a bum. Both of those voices are going. One of them's going to win. You know which one wins most often in network marketing? This isn't going to work. You know why? Because leaders and companies plug people into 20, 30 calls the first month that don't make 10 cents. Get that caller, find out what they want, drive on their core motive, build the list, and go to work. Why? So we can focus on the vital behavior. 80% of the time should be on the main thing. What's the main thing? The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is talking to people about your business for yourself or your teammates that are not in the business. You got to have that magnifying glass focus. What makes a great influencer? They engage in all 6 forms. They break from the pack by over-determining change. Most people apply a familiar tool in all cases to try to influence change instead of all proven methods. Get the book or don't. Prosper or don't. Succeed or don't. Get the book and you'll succeed, right? The influencer, keep commitments, write it, do it, train your brain that you do those things. Reluctant heroes probably see recruiting as undesirable, recruiting, selling, or enrolling. Finding the time is never true. It's a clear signal that undesirable is in play. Getting them to take action, you want to focus on behaviors, not results, behaviors, not results. Find their core motive through color code, okay? Get a mini definite major purpose, which you got the first time you talked to them. I think we did it with Miriam the other day, right? She wanted to travel with her family at 14 and so forth. I'm going to use that over and over and over again in a language that they understand, and I'm going to link the behavior to her core values and motives. And I'm going to work with her. Okay, that's it. So persuasion is trying to find the right combination of verbal tricks and phrases, usually based on fear of loss. We're going to be the next billion-dollar company. Don't miss it. We're opening in Taiwan. Who do you know in Taiwan? so-and-so hit diamond in 4 minutes. Okay, that's about exerting your will over others. Reds, be really careful. You have a tendency to show them results that people are getting that are unachievable for someone that isn't experienced in network. Influence, on the other hand, is identifying critical behavior. Okay, the main thing, talking to people about the business that aren't in the business, or talking about your insurance policy or your houses that you're selling, whatever it happens to be. But, you know, in real estate, for example, if you don't list, you don't last. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Working with people to modify their behavior and rewarding their effort, you'll know something about your teammates that others don't, their core motive. Simply link their core motive to the behavior, and then it's show and tell. Then it's show and tell. And we'll give you an example of that later.
That's right. So we're going to do a quick color code review, and then we're going to take you through some fun practical applications today and touch on this technique called quick coding so that you can really refine and get better at guessing. I'll say you get a little more accurate at guessing the color with your suspects and your possibilities. Then we're going to go a little deeper into color so you can refine and master those mini presentations with your teammates. Those are the ones that'll really impact your income. And if we can't get them going, what happens? We've got to sponsor more people. The real target is getting more people on our team sponsoring. So here are the core motives. Those of you here with us on Monday went through the color code training. So you've learned these already, right? We've got our reds that are motivated by power or progress, and our blues who cherish and are driven by that intimacy with other people. Your whites are motivated by peace, and your yellows love fun and adventure, and you learned all about those. So we're going to take you through a quick test here, but it's not to test you, really, it's to test us, okay? So I'm gonna give you a little instruction here. What I'd like you to do is write these numbers down just like you see here on the slide. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 vertically down the left.
So
go ahead.
it might be in your workbook, but these are what I like to call the quick translator, right? So what color am I? This is just to see how Lori and I did the other day on Monday. The strength of this person is persuasion, optimism, they're excited. The weakness is disorganization and careless. They want to be popular, that's a goal. They like applause, they like recognition, they don't be the top dog. They have a fear of, their big fear is loss of prestige. Their motivator is fun and recognition, and their irritation is routine. What color would that be? So write down what color you think that is, okay? All right. Number 2. So write the color next to 2 that you think this is. Strength, service, listening. They will listen, so speak in their language. They tend to be indecisive. It's a big weakness, and oversensitive, okay? So if you push them, they get their feelings hurt. Acceptance and stability, big about stability. They want to feel safe. They fear sudden change. Their motivation is service. Their key irritation is insensitivity, right? So we know this isn't a red, okay? Anyway, so write down what color you think they are, put it in the chat, okay? This color, strength is planning, research. They're perfectionists. Their goals are accuracy and thoroughness. They fear criticism because they really put a lot into their research. The motivation is peace and unpredictability. You can see why this color would have a problem with the yellow. Is their irritation. So write down what color you think that is. And then number 4, initiative. Weakness is impatient and insensitive. They want to be productive. Their fear is being hustled. Never exaggerate numbers with this color, okay? You'll lose them instantly. And by the way, with this color, never predict the future. When you predict the future to this color, they're done with you. I'll give you a little hint. When you tell me what the future is going to be, health and nutrition is going to be a $2 trillion industry. I say, hey, I'm buying you a ticket to Vegas since you know the future. We'll be there 2 days since you're so smart and you can predict the future. Okay. I'm bringing 10 grand for you to bet. Indecision. So they have a difficult time with indecision. What color would that be? Okay. Great.
You're doing a great job.
Everybody got it? Okay, so number 4, this is key. Their motivation is winning and progress. They want to be in charge. This is a red. Indecision. So you can see why they have difficulty with whites and blues. Your color doesn't matter, Mandy. What matters is the color of the person that you're talking to. So I know about I know about whites and blues. Whites are going to be methodical. They're not really indecisive. They just want to get it absolutely right. Blues are indecisive because they want to please everybody. So if I come from a red place, I'm going to lose those people. I've got to develop patience, and reds are generally not that patient. Okay. Yellows, routine. So I fixed routine by giving Lori so many different things to do. And without realizing it, trapped her at a desk, which is the last place she wants to be. So sometimes you make these mistakes inadvertently, right? So she just had her family in the week before we're doing this whole big workshop, and it's like, oh boy, did I time this wrong? Because she knows how I am, and she gave me plenty of time. She told me 2 or 3 times, like a month ago, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, I'm having my family in, which was her way of helping me let her enjoy her free time. Okay. Blues. When they're very thoughtful before they speak until they emote, right? So what makes them emote? Insensitivity. And remember that they're hypersensitive. When they speak, don't interrupt the blue. Let them go. Let them go. Because they're going to tell you how they feel. And boy, does that make it easy. Okay. And whites, of course, they fear criticism. Again, unpredictability. So blues and whites, when your company changes its marketing plan, you've got a little bit of work on your hands. Okay. When you move from Monday meetings to Wednesday meetings, you've got some work on your hands, so be sensitive with them. Okay. So how do you find these people with prospects? Wouldn't it be cool if you knew what a prospect's color was? Well, you can't ask them to take a 47 question quiz. Okay. So anyway, we do it 2 different ways. Lori likes this because it's all kinds of arrows and shit going everywhere, and yellows love that. Oh boy, what's on this box? Oh, look at that.
The better graphic. Yeah. So first of all, one of the things you want to look for when you're listening, and I'll talk about that, is communication style. And so it says quick communication up there with your reds and yellows, and then it's not always slower, but more deliberate, thoughtful conversation with your whites and your blues. Reds and yellows will talk faster. Typically, they might interrupt. That's pretty common. And I'm not saying they're generally extroverts, but oftentimes you will see over there on the right side that your reds and yellows are more outgoing. You can spot them in a room most of the time pretty easily. On the other hand, a little bit more subdued, I would say, introverted are your whites and your blues. The big one to really key in on is when you're listening and in conversing with these folks, are they talking in language that sounds more logic oriented, bringing up what they think and thoughts and figures and things like that, next steps, or are they more emotional? Okay, that would be the emotional driven people, your yellows and your blues, and your reds and whites are all about logic.
So quick coding, right? The worst that happens when you're trying to read somebody else's color is that you become a better listener. And I told you about the survey the other day of 10,000 people who are age 65. Their biggest regret in life was a write-in, and it beat the aggregate score of the other 20. Their biggest regret in life was what? They didn't feel heard. They didn't feel heard. So if you're listening, and even if you don't guess, Mandy, you don't guess their color right, they feel heard. Well, I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, and it help you in a Zoom, increases the yeses, and open-mindedness. They feel heard. You're 80% closed. So I do it a little bit. It's a little simpler. Red's kind of simplify things. Okay, so here's our 4 colors, right? And for me, it's pretty simple. If they're quick decision makers, they're reds and yellows. So we can get on the phone and say, hey, you got a couple of minutes, and you give them your first sentence or two, and they say, what's this all about? Right? That's probably a red. They're going to interrupt and say that, right? And then slower decision makers are whites and blues. So if I sponsored Mandy and we're building a list, she gives me the first name, Joe Smith. I'm going to say, in your opinion, is Joe make decisions quickly or is he more deliberate? He's a little deliberate, right? Okay. Would you say that he makes them with his gut, or is it law? Does he want the facts? The facts. So I'm going to peg him as a white. And then as I start to build this list with her, she'll pick the pattern up, maybe 5 names in, maybe 10 names in. We're just guessing, right? But it can give you an edge. So quick decision makers are yellows and reds. Slower decision makers are blues and whites. And I'll ask people sometimes on a call, hey, Hong, I want to sort of share with you a few ideas. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Would it be okay? Magic phrase. Would it be okay if I ask you 2 questions so I can tailor what I'm saying to your style? Sure, they're going to say, would you say that you make decisions considering your feelings first and then facts, or facts first and then feelings? And so she says, well, I guess I feel energy. Great. And would you say that you make decisions fairly quickly, or are you more deliberate in your decision making? Pretty quick. Great. I'm going to peg her as a yellow and have some fun. I mean, it's okay to ask people that stuff, okay? So just a reminder, everything improves in your team when communication improves with you, Mandy. So I'm going to say it again. Your color doesn't matter. What matters is the person that you're talking to. A true confession of a poor listening coach, that would be me. Everybody knows the money is in listening, and I converted 3 different courses that I took into PowerPoint and taught my team to listen, and they didn't listen. They were listening for their turn to speak. And then ironically, when I taught them quick coding, guess what? They started listening. I haven't taught listening since 1995. And you know what? My team listens. My staff listens. Why? They're trying to figure out the color, and they help you coach better. This is a massive advantage with the hero journey. HJ means hero journey. ABC means always be collecting. It does not mean always be closing. Why? Anybody know why I say always be collecting rather than closing? Let's see how Lori and I are doing. Why do I say always be collecting rather than closing? It's in one of the 3 keys to the vaults we gave. What do you think, Steph?
We're just collecting decisions.
Right. Why do I say collect this? Why? Because everybody says ABC means always be closing. We saw that epitomized in the great movie Glengarry Glen Ross. Right. But anyway,
We want to
you're
influence,
correct.
not persuade.
Say it again.
We want to influence, not persuade.
Exactly. And what do great influencers do? What do they focus on? Behaviors or results?
Behavior.
They focus on behavior.
Mhm.
So collecting is a behavior. Closing is a result. Folks, I just got goosebumps. This had such a profound effect on me because I'm a red. That's just, I was always about closing. Well, when you teach a team, just collect a decision. How many, I got 2 people said no today that I thought was coming in. You collected decisions. That is awesome. Let's talk about it so we can sort of get more positive decisions. But you did your job. Your job is to collect decisions. And I told you the two things that held me back in network marketing that I didn't know was what the objective is, teams that build teams without you, and what the job of a distributor is, collect decisions. Okay. So good job. Good job. Okay. Okay. That set us apart. I know you think it's brilliant what I'm saying, and it's challenging to create an action plan to pick the correct words. Actually, it isn't. It doesn't need to be perfect when you're talking in a language they understand, Vincente. Okay? It just needs to be in a language they understand. Raise your hand if you don't speak Spanish or Italian. Let's get somebody. Raise your hand if those are foreign languages to you. Okay. Okay, great. All right. So help me. Can you unmute? Is it Hong Mai?
Wang Mai.
Huang Mai? Okay. All right. So you're going to read this to prove to you, folks, it doesn't need to be perfect, Mandy. It just needs to be in a language. So I'm going to ask you to read what you see on the screen. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Start down at segundo.
Secondo uno studio di ricerca all'Università di Cambridge. Non importa in che ordine. It's not Spanish, no?
Keep going.
It's Italian?
Keep going. Do you know this language? No. Okay. Right.
No.
So now you're going to read the same thing. This is the same. Did you understood what you were reading at all?
No. I understood Cambridge and
Yeah, okay.
university.
Now she's going to read the same thing. And this is a perfect translation of what she read. Okay.
According to a research study at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. To win at MLM or sales, you just have to talk in language they understand, linking their DMP to the correct behavior.
You know, I just wanted to tell you how wonderful it is to see your face again. You came to Kauai, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember when you first took the master keys, your family thought you were crazy, right? Like, what are you doing that for? It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to
You
see
know,
you as well.
We were looking at some videos the other day and we saw you at KA Beach. We have live events over here once in a while, and did we take good care of you when you were here?
Did we take what?
Did we
Uh,
take good care of you when you were here?
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. And
Yeah.
I was with my husband as well.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
It was
And you-
so nice. It's really warm warm heart treasure memory.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So you see right here, you did a beautiful job. Guess what? Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be Vincente in a language that they understand. So blue, a little choppy. The blue will get that you're trying to communicate with them and they feel heard. And when they feel heard, the trust level goes up. Okay. So compressed learning rocks, right? Inviting blues. How do you invite a blue? Anybody want to take a shot at inviting a blue? Who's a blue?
You make them feel
Into their hearts.
comfortable.
Yeah. Who's a blue? Raise your hand, somebody else. Okay. Ask to unmute. Hi, Candy. How are you?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
Good. Hey, listen, Candy, I'm having a meeting at my house tonight, and I really, really need your help. There's a few people that weren't showing up, and I have to be here and take care of a couple of things. I was wondering, could you pick up some Dixie cups for me and bring them over? And it would really be important to me. I'd really feel supported. You got no choice, right?
Oh, do I need to come early to help also?
Yeah, okay. All right. Now, how about inviting a yellow? Why don't you invite Lori? Take a shot at inviting Lori Candy. Who wants to invite a yellow?
Hey,
Peter,
Laurie,
go-
there's a
Pete-
great party going on here this evening. We know your energy is going to be needed. Please go for it.
Yeah.
See
That's
you
good.
at 8.
Okay, great.
Now,
I'm going there.
no, that was Wayne, right? Was that you, Wayne? Yeah. Okay. So Wayne, that's outstanding and it'll work. But one of the things you want to say to yellow, there's two things you need to do with the yellow. If the meeting's at 7:30, what time do you have to tell the meeting the yellow the meeting is at? 7. Okay. Because they're going to be late. But the second thing is say, and Lori, listen, this guy Wayne's coming over and he's coming with his partner Carl, and I've told them all about you and they can't wait to meet you. The hook is set. They're coming, right? Because popularity is important to them. Status is important to them. They don't care about the car status. They want to be enjoyed by other people. Okay. Who wants to invite a red? Here's Katie Younger, the voice of an angel. Get a chance to see this woman sing, hear her sing, actually, not see her sing. Well, both would be great. Do it. By the way, beautiful new picture on Facebook. You get better looking every year. I don't know how you do it. But anyway, whatever you're taking, I want. Anyway, anybody want to invite a red here? How about Peter Ba?
Hey, Mark, we're having a get together, and I tell you what, if you come over, you can show everybody what kind of skills you have when you
No, you're inviting me to a business opportunity.
right. Yeah. I don't know Reds very well, so
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Peter, fantastic job. He's taking a shot. Players get paid, spectators pay to watch players play. Make your mistakes here. You realize you find one person and you learn the skills here, how to present to them and develop their full potential. They're going to do 300,000-400,000 a month. That's 3 million a year. Over 10 years, that's 30 million. It's 15 million in commissions. I never made calls. I made $15 million presentations. So learn how here. Good job, Peter. Anybody else want to take a shot with a red?
I'll do it, Mark. It's Miriam.
Hi, Miriam. How are
hi.
you?
I'm
I can't
great.
wait to hear about your trip to Hawaii
Me neither.
with a blended family.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So, hey, Mark, I've just heard about an opportunity that where people can make a lot of money, and there's very minimal time investment. And what we have to do is just learn a few skills. And there's a presentation tonight right at 7, not going to last more than an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Leave out the skills.
Got it.
You nailed it.
Okay.
Hey, Miriam, it's Mark J. Hey, look I know you're busy. There's a very brief meeting tonight and it's about money. Big money.
Perfect.
Okay. I think you should evaluate this. There's some people here that are making huge money, and off the record, they couldn't carry your shoes on their best day.
Got it.
I just don't know that you're willing to do what they're willing to do, but why don't you check it out? Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Does that help? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Great job, Miriam.
Thank
You're
you.
one step closer to Kauai. Find two reds. You're gonna get rich if you can coach them. They're not easy to coach. Okay. Anybody want to take a shot at our wonderful peace-loving whites? Okay. I got all day. Hi, go ahead. Larry, Larry.
Hey, Mark, there's a meeting tonight. I've looked at this opportunity. It looks good, but I sure would appreciate your opinion. I mean, I know what I think, but I'm really interested in what you think. They schedule this thing. They start on time. They end on time. So it's at 7. It should be over by 7:30. Just really like you to come and get your opinion.
too many asks to come, but a wonderful job. Add in there, say, you started perfectly. I've looked at this thing a few times. Okay. But there's some facts and figures that to me, they make sense. But I'll tell you, it would give me great peace of mind, Larry, if you would check this out and say, hey, Mark, you're crazy. Or you know what, Mark, this logic, you're right. It is logical. It makes sense. And I got to tell you, you know how I am with Davine. If I can get your backing on this thing, or it'll go great. Or you telling me I'm out of my mind, it'll avoid a fight with my wife later. It'll create peace in my home, right? And there it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Great job, Larry. Great job. Okay, so you guys are killing this thing.
Yeah.
We invited our colors, and while knowing that color is extremely valuable in recruiting, it's priceless in coaching. So focus on coaching, the most critical presentation. You're learning and earning their trust. Colors knock influence to a whole new level. Why? Combining the hero's journey, the influencer techniques, and using them in a language that they understand. Okay, so your relationships turn on communication. So yes, they improved, but it was two additional things that put us here. This is actually where how Wong was talking about. It was right here that her husband and her, we hike this Nepali coast with guests when they come over here. It put us in the dream.
So am I unmuted? Oh, there you go. Thanks. Good job, Marky. That's beautiful. So, you know, here's the thing. The first and most important thing is learning to present to yourself. I mean, think about it. Self-talk will make or break you. And why is that? It's because your subconscious mind is calling all the shots all day long in your life. It has zero defense against your voice. And it believes 100% of what you put in there verbally, okay? You know, I'm extraordinary or I'm a loser. Whichever one you choose to repeat, it's going to take in and believe is truth. So while it's really critical to communicate well with other people, absolutely, I would say it's absolutely crucial that you need to do it with yourself, first and foremost. You know, I'm going to give you an example. Mark is what we call a red-yellow combination. So I'm referring to primary and secondary color. And if you ever take the full color code with us, you'll get a full report and you'll understand that there's many colors influencing here, but the primary thing is the core motive. So color code calls the red-blue combination, that relationship, is blood, sweat, and tears, okay? Which basically means that he has an internal relationship with himself that's conflicting. So if we know this about ourselves and we learn to communicate effectively with ourselves, influence ourselves to do the right things that will drive us towards our purpose and our dreams and goals. Think about that. Once you know what makes you tick, and you understand and learn how to get better at communication with everyone, but mostly with yourself, and you improve on defining and refining your dreams and goals and planning your actions are going to actually improve dramatically from this. So life breaks down into three parts. One is your personal or your love relation, your romantic life. Two is your personal life, and three is business. And you know, you might want to argue with it and say there's a bunch of other things, but at the end of the day, the truth is it all falls under, all those things can fall under this umbrella of these three areas of life. Okay, it all fits. Everything that you want to either want in your life or desire, something that you want to improve, falls under this. So in setting goals and objectives and dreams for yourself, as well as the people you're going to coach, your primary objectives must match your core motive. What drives you, right? Why? Because if it doesn't, you're not going to do it. That's just the way it is. Blue goals don't work for reds. Yellow dreams don't work for whites. You know, you might write it down and share it, sure, and enjoy reading it to people, but are you going to do the work? No, not if it's not touching your heart, your core motive. It has to match that. I'm telling you right now, this is a moment to just realize, tiny interruption, the points that I'm talking to you about are worth your time today. I'd say 100-fold, truly. It's priceless. And each of us has learned to use this tool to become a more effective communicator with ourselves.
Right, so people that decide to work with us personally or get this on their own, you can get this on your own, but if you work with us personally, you know, a 30-page report, and it's going to break it down into three things: work, personal, and love. Okay, the three categories. So basically what happens is you're gonna get we're gonna actually customize for you, Peter, a 27-point plan for your life. And then when I work with people personally, let's say I was gonna work with Peter, I have his color. I'm gonna help him determine his purpose. And then we're gonna know the things to start doing around work, to stop doing and replace with new habits, and to continue doing, okay? And this is the game changer. This is why people that we work with succeed. This is so important. Otherwise, I got to do what? I got to sponsor more people rather than get more people sponsoring, okay? These are not cookie cutter, one size fits all. Here's the same thing for a white. It's really amazing. We're also going to give you this so that we can identify, like I'm a red blue, so these are my things. But we can identify, it could be someone that with the same red blue, but the strengths and limitations of another red blue. Let's say Carl was a red blue. His strengths, some of them would be the same, some would be different, same with the limitations. It's easy to do with color code and our hands-on support. Imagine knowing this when presenting to your teammates. This is how you develop people's potential. And I'm just gonna bully pulpit here for about 30 seconds. Okay, I think shame on these companies that don't help people understand this. And they just talk on stage about sponsor more, sponsor more, sponsor more. I remember all the way back at Market America, OPC is their #1 product there. And it's a great product. I haven't been with that company since 2010. I still take that product. It's a great product. But they used to say all the time, new people are OPC. OPC helps your immune system. And so they'd say OPC, new people in your business is like OPC for your body. What a terrible message. Basically, when you enroll somebody, Peter, you are implying to them directly that you're going to help them alter their life. We're in the behavior modification business. Now, I know something about behavior modification, and that is I can't modify anybody's behavior. But I've learned how to help Peter how to modify his behavior. And color code is a shortcut. It's amazing. With the exercises and lessons, you'll be a great communicator with others when making presentations. And most importantly, and Lori talked about at the beginning, with yourself. Will that make you successful in all the areas? No, not just improved. Yes, dramatically, your best, no. Remember these 2 slides, right? It was 2 additional things that put us here, okay? Learning to present to yourself. Self-talk will make or break you, okay? Subby calls all the shots. Color code provided us with a massive advantage. Think, once you know what makes you tick and how to get better at communication and improve on defining your dreams, goals, and planning, actions improve dramatically. Because what, Larry? It begins here. Success is in the mind. And to find out what my shortcomings were, and also, we always talk about blind spots as being negative. I found out I had some great blind spots. To learn how to showcase those and to find partners that could cover my shortcomings changed everything. So the second thing, communication improved, pick the goals that match the core motive. The second thing, there was one thing that separates the winners from the losers in the end. Everything we have or don't have is on this one thing. It is magic in your life, Miriam, or it's mayhem in your life. Your life, my life, Lori's life, everybody's life.
Yeah, the magic, knowing yourself is one thing and definitely a requirement to live a fulfilling life. Okay, it's a big word, but it just simply isn't enough. Okay, so what is it, that one thing that determines success or failure, that will determine whether or not you experience debt or prosperity, or you live in desperation or have peace of mind, whether you experience defeat or joy? What is that one thing?
I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might as well turn over to me, and I will do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must be firm with me. show me exactly how you want me to something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I made great. Those who are failures, I made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a person. You can run me for profit or you can run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me. I'll put the world at your feet. Be easy with me. I will destroy you. Who am I?
We got some people
Habits.
Who am I? Type it in the box.
type it in the box.
If you've been here and you know, don't show off. Let people learn. A lot of people have subby. That's great. Good job, Vincente. Somebody put Sunny. I know they meant subby because the B and the N are next to each other. Good job, Miriam. Did you test out as a yellow, Miriam? Program conditioning.
Yep, I sure
Yep.
did.
So this is why that whole thing with the kids and all that, I want to, Miriam's on my team. I'm going to talk to her. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to find hikes for her and things for her to do on Kauai and to let her know I'm thinking of her. I'm going to send her, I'm going to print stuff off and say, I can see you and your grandkids here. I'm not going to say if we do this or the business is going to take you there. Just letting other people know that you're thinking of them.
Awesome.
So who am I? I
Subconscious.
am habit.
Habit. Oh,
Habit. And the subconscious is the habit mind. Okay. All dictionaries define habit as what? A pattern of behavior. Right, Lori?
That's exactly right. So think about this. If you ever notice that the way you present up to now is a habit, you actually have a pattern of behavior when you present. And, you know, we all have a bad habit once we pitch somebody and then we get turned down. This is very, very common because we then blame the prospect. You know, they were closed-minded, they lied, whatever. We tend to push it off that way. And that's a habit we've developed. Well, you've got the keys to the vault now. So let's develop the habits of great presenting, develop a whole new pattern of behavior based on what you're learning here. You know, it's not about personality or charisma or being dynamic. You don't have to light up the audience. You don't light them up on fire. You know, you become a great storyteller so that their message touches two places, their heart and their head. The measure is conversion, folks. It's not charisma.
Yeah. And with that number 1 to 10,000, that audience of 1 is the most important audience you're ever going to have because that
Absolutely.
audience of 1, Miriam, is what leads to so much fun watching it grow to 10,000. Okay. Okay. So that breaks us here. We've been over a nice review. You learned a few new things. And we will, oh, look at this. We're 5 minutes before last time, right? Okay. So we'll be back. We'll break for, so we'll give you guys 10 minutes and we'll be back at 5 past. Okay, awesome. Guys, good first opening. We're going to get into building the presentation. Whoops, leave this up here. There you go. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And we're back. Am I early? Yeah. I'm early. Everybody doing okay? Yes?
Yes.
I know it seems like when are they gonna get to the point?
No, you
Um,
lots of points. I'm loving it.
Oh, good. But now this foundation is so important, and to sell you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again on that one-on-one presentation. You'll never build a group of 5,000 until you build a group of one. Okay. Okay. And if you can coach that one up, Katie, then you can sponsor. You don't have to sponsor. You want to keep sponsoring. You want to keep bringing people in. One a month is good. It's all you really need to do. If you bring in one a month and you teach people to bring in one a month, you have 4,000 people at the end of a year. To learn how to coach people up means by the 6th month, Katie's bringing in one, but her team is bringing in 40 or 50 people a week. Okay, because they learned how to do it. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about a couple of business principles and build a presentation for you. Step one. So I'm going to talk about concerns and fears. Accept my 24 years of experience or argue for your concern. It's all about cause and effect. Okay, sort of like if you think of we know an iceberg, Vincente, about 95% is underwater. Okay, I became obsessed with a cause. It seemed like everybody was concerned with the effects of presentations that didn't work, but they were always the same. I don't have the time, I don't have the money, blah, 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 blah. I said, you know what? The hell with the concerns. What is causing those concerns? Okay. If I can find the cause and fix that, then the concerns should vanish. So the 23 year inescapable conclusion, fear of presenting effectively. If you knew that you knew that you knew your presentation would convert, concerns would vanish. And you couldn't wait to share. In other words, Vincente is like reluctant to call people because he's talked to a few people, finally got 1 out of 10 to the table, and they looked at him like he was nuts or they didn't understand because he was talking about, you know, do this much business volume and then you become a double diamond pooper scooper. And if you do this many and it's raining and raining in Belgium on Tuesday, we pay you to infinity. And, you know, and they're looking at him like their eyes are rolling back in their head. And I decided if Vincente knew he was going to close 90+% of the people that he sat with, would he be more assertive on the phone? Of course. Okay. And what do you believe would happen if your teammates knew that the people would enroll if you pitched them? And you can be an effective presenter by Saturday if you keep your head in the game, do the work, P. Persistent practice produces perfect presentations and improve. It's like I told you the other day. Most people suck at most things, and I certainly do. Okay. You know, my wife was away on a retreat and she came back and I ran the stuff through the dishwasher, and half of the stuff in the dishwasher is dirty because I don't even know how to load a dishwasher. Right. So I had to rewash all that stuff. Right. What's my point? It doesn't bother me. Most people suck at most things and everybody sucks the first few times they try something. Just like when Vincente learned to walk. What's the difference between Vincente then and Vincente now? When he was 2 years old or 1 year old and learning to walk, society hadn't got a hold of him, Larry, and made him feel foolish when he fell. They cheered and they laughed and try it again. We developed what? Self-consciousness. We developed self-consciousness instead of self-confidence. You'll have more people enroll, the production will be higher, and that increase leads to teams that build teams without, okay? So these 3 numbers in making presentations are crucial. If you know what it means because you've been here before, please don't yell it out. If you know what it means or would like to take a guess, type it in the chat. 55, 38, 7. What do those numbers mean? What do those numbers mean? 55, 38, 7. Anybody want to take a guess? I don't know is a good answer. Players get paid, spectators pay to watch players play.
There you go. No idea. No idea. I don't know.
Yes, yes, Bedford, they do add up to 100. Good job, Katie. She's 100%. Okay. Okay. So this is why these numbers are important. You ready? Okay. 55% of a person's judgment, Julie, is based on appearance. 38% is based on the tone of their voice. Only 7% is based on content. And if they have a negative response to appearance or voice, you never get to the content. So before we go any further, I would love it if you would overlook the way that I look.
Sorry, Mark.
Overlook Lori's voice. Okay. Okay. There's a very easy way. A lot of times, I'll get with you in a second, Wayne. There's a very easy way. When Davine and I go out and present in public, we always start with this slide. It's the first one we put up. And we say, you know, so what we want you to do is overlook my voice, forget about the way that I look and forget about the way that she sounds, right? And right there, we win the audience. We win the audience. You had a question, Wayne.
Yeah, sorry, the 7%, I couldn't make out the word you were saying what it represents.
Content, only 7%. Only 7% is based on content. So stop living and dying on the content. They're not hearing it anyway. We're going to show you how to get to that. We've actually already shown you with the Hero's Journey Color Code and Influencer. We're going to show you how to weave it into a presentation. Okay, so I know you've heard this from me once or twice. If you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay like a hobby. Treat it like a business, it'll pay like a business. And not from me, you've heard it, but you hear it all the time. You've all heard it 1,000 times. Have you ever noticed that after anybody who shares that, they never say a goddamn thing? Never say a thing. It's all bullshit and it's not good for you. They're just what? Doing the same thing the industry's done for 60 years and with less than 1% of the people making big money. Can't do the things you've always done. What does it really mean? Well, we're going to show you how we actually grow a business. There's only 4 ways to grow a business. Number 1, increase the number of customers of the type that you want. Okay, in case nobody's told you, your reps are customers too. Number 2, increase the number of times customers come back. This would be auto ships. Number 3, increase the average value of the sale. Okay, so let's say in Katie Younger's place, she was with a great company, New You Life. I actually had a meeting with Alexi today that was fantastic. But anyway, we've become friends, which is really nice. But anyway, Katie, you don't want to be bringing people in at the minimum, right? You want to bring them in for 1,200. So you want to have a higher enrollment, right? And number 4, increase the effectiveness process in the business. So you build teams that build teams without you. Now you know how to treat it like a business. What's nice about network marketing model, there's drawbacks to every model and there's pluses. The plus thing about network marketing is you can hit all 4 of these. For example, if you're selling vacuum cleaners, while you can increase number 3, right, you can sell the higher model, right? And I did that at Britannica. Everybody, when I was at Britannica, would start with the leather and then go down to a commemorative binding and then go down to the school and library binding. I started with school and library and ended up selling leather. So my average sale was close to 700. The average rep at Britannica was close to 500, right? But I couldn't go back and sell them anything the next week, okay? So in when you have a consumable, you have people coming back month after month is a really good thing, and you can increase the initial enrollment, okay? So how do we do all 4 effortlessly? Well, this you've heard me say, never do anything unless you know why you're doing it. We want to grow our businesses to create a different outcome. That requires for most people more money. So we picked an occupation that is the highest in the world. Why are salespeople the highest paid people in the world? Well, we already went over this the other day. They change people's minds. We're always making presentations. Why our son should take out the trash, why our daughter should get off Instagram, and why she should do what? Spend more time playing the piano or whatever, right? So I know that I know nothing, meaning transactions, happens before the presentation. Even though we know they're ready to buy and ready to join, it's still not going to happen until after the presentation. And so this was when if you go back to the iceberg, I said, I got to find the cause for these concerns. And it was actually a fly that died on a windowsill that changed everything for me. I'm sitting there on my back porch having a cigar, right? And I hear this tap. It's like this. And this tap. And I'm like, where's that coming from? So I lived on Plum Island. Plum Island's a wildlife sanctuary, which means they don't spray for bugs. So you have an awful lot of flies. And I was always curious. I'd always find a couple of dead flies every 2 or 3 days, no matter how much screening you have. On Plum Island, they get in your house. Every time the bugs change, the birds change, right? And so I said, I wonder why they die. So anyway, I open the screen door, and here's this fly. He's banging his head against this window pane. And so I open the door, and then I take, only time I ever had cigar smoke in the house, I take a hit, come in, blow it on the fly to try to, try to get him away. And he just goes further up the window, and he keeps banging it and banging it. Anyway, eventually he dies on the windowsill. Now, if you look at Napoleon Hill discovered that persistence is really is a habit that's a byproduct of 4 tiny habits, right? Which is definiteness of purpose, positive mental attitude, mastermind alliance, and plan expressed in continuous action. So let's look at this fly. Did he have a definite major purpose? Yeah, he wanted to get outside. Do you have a positive mental attitude? Absolutely. Nothing could stop him. He was sure he was going to get outside. Did he have a mastermind? Well, he's a link to the universe. And did he have a plan? Yeah, I keep flapping his wings. But he died anyway because he wasn't able to do what? He wasn't able to change his mind. So I remember calling Davine, I just figured it all out. I figured out the key to networking, and I figured out the key to life. And I told her the story. And I said, so you know what the answer is? She said, I don't care. She said, you're watching flies die on a windowsill while I'm trying to raise 2 daughters over here. I don't have time for you. Call me back when you get a life. She actually hung up on me, which is funny. We're the highest paid people in the world as an occupational group. Why? We change people's minds. When we do, suspects look, reps do better, clients provide endless referrals, groups increase performance. How? Well, as it turns out in a study at MIT, it only takes 1/1 billionth of a volt to change somebody's mind. So I need a presentation that will get them past appearance and tone of voice and into the content that will change their mind. Is it a big job? No. 1/1 billionth of a volt of electricity. It's not a lot, so stop trying to be so big. And what's the thing that's going to change Katie Younger's mind? What's the thing that's going to change Miriam's mind? What's in it for them? And guess what? They present that to us before they come. And all I realize all I have to do is not talk them out of it. I know what they're looking for. They want to know 3 things. Can I make any money? What would I have to do? Can I do it? Write it down. There's a quiz about it later. What would I have to do? Can I do it? Can I make any money? That's the only thing in Katie's mind or Miriam's mind. If you put them in the hero's journey before they come to the presentation. So the presentation isn't about the ingredients or how many levels you get paid on. The presentation is about what? What's it about? I just told you. What's the presentation about? Anybody? Bueller. What's it about? You want to know, can I make any money? What would I have to do? Can I do it?
Can I do it?
It's not about the money. So number one is not important because every network marketing thing is going to show them that they can make more money than they do. Who said this? Christine. What would I have to do? Because they can't decide whether or not they can do it until what? Until they know what they'd have to do. So Davine and I stopped at Market America talking about the plan, the product, the company got in trouble because they had a standardized hour-long training there. Our presentation was 15 minutes with 9 testimonials that brought it to 24 minutes. And guess what we talked about? We're going to give you complete training and we're going to work with you hands-on until you're making $1,500 to $3,000 a month and feel confident, competent, and capable. That's it.
That's it. That's amazing. So we're clear now. Presenting and training is a skill. And this module this afternoon is going to help you present or improve all of your presentations. It'll create the greatest growth in all 4 of those areas, all 4 areas we've gone through. So there's 9 simple steps to impactful presentations, which will set an environment conducive for that 1/1000th of a volt to go off that Mark just said. We're going to be covering in detail coming up adult learning principles. We're going to deal with anxiety. We're going to talk about training techniques around room arrangement because that matters. We're going to talk about appearance and enthusiasm and give you a lot of other cool tips as well. Now, there's 7 things that every audience knows about you, whether you're talking to 1 person or 10,000. 1, they absolutely know how you feel. All right. If you think about being in an audience, listening to someone, you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, they know if you don't like them. 3, they know if you're lying or when you're lying. 4, they absolutely know when it's a pitch. It's in your eyes, it's in your face, in your expression. They know when you've given up. And they absolutely know when you have not prepared. That's it. Now, Mark added this one. They also know if it's coming from your heart. So, you know, they know if what's in it for you here, if you're really them, if you're all about wanting to get them in, or if you care about getting them their dreams and goals met. That's what comes through.
Hold on 1 second, Lori. I don't want to do this alone. Wayne, did you have a question? Your hand's up. Okay,
No.
maybe it's an inadvertent thing. Okay.
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 Sorry,
All right,
Mark. No, it was
great.
just me bumping the phone.
That's okay, man. That's okay.
No problem.
So
Okay.
yeah, let's talk about this, Lori. Go ahead.
Yeah,
The
so
Rubik's Cube.
we use props here. So when you see this Rubik's Cube, you have work to do. So I want you to get ready. Where do we start building confidence as a presenter? Is it stage presence? Is it emulating others? Is it the presentation? The outline? The introduction? Like, where do you think that we should start? Anybody? We're going to start right here, understanding why you're there. Remember, we've said it many times already. Never do anything unless you know why you're doing it. We get a lot of people typing in the box here. You have to remember, presentations are not for you. You are there to serve the other person, or you're there to serve the audience. You're training, you're enrolling, you're inspiring adults. So remember that. Reminding yourself that you're there to be in service is going to help you if you're nervous. It's going to calm you down. So with adult learning, knowing who we're serving helps with adult learning principles. I want to review these. Number 1, they prefer accuracy over speed. 2, we want to increase self-reliance, that inner directedness, just keeping in mind, though, we still do need reps to work together. So that's important. 3 is key. Adults underestimate their ability to learn. You know, they've been told that adults learn slower than children or that children learn faster. It's absolutely not true. And so you're dealing, sometimes they lack confidence, right? It might have been a while since they've been in a situation and they believe that kids learn faster. It's false, okay? And number 4, they rely increasingly on prior knowledge and experience. This is a massive key. Under stress, what do people do? We talked about this, I think, on Monday. They're going to go back into what's familiar, okay? So you learned in the influencer that we want to help them modify their behavior post-event. They'll retreat back into what's familiar. They'll choose comfort. That's the bottom line.
Huh? Could you speak up, Lori? Just kidding. And number 5.5 with adults is, what were we talking about? The short-term memory gets shitty.
Terrible.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Where am I? Okay. The hearing declines. Energy level is lower, so it's why we're going to give you more breaks, and we're going to put you in little breakout rooms, guided note-taking to keep you engaged. At business opportunity meetings, when you're presenting your business in a hotel, living room, or mostly today it's on Zoom, you want to keep them engaged, keep it simple, keep it familiar, and keep it quick without speaking too fast, so you don't lose the yellows and the blues, okay? Multiple breaks, because people remember the first and last thing. Little quick experiment for you. Hold on one second. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to give you a series of 9 numbers. Okay, you ready? Don't write them down. Just listen. 1, 27, 13, 6, 11, 14, 3, 9, and 2. What was the first number? You can just type it in the box. What was the first number? If most of you have it, it's 1. What was the last number? Just type it in the box. And the 2s are flying in, mostly 2s. Okay, who's willing to bet 2 years' pay on the middle number? What's the middle number? 14. Yeah, the middle number was 11. A couple of you got it, but the percentage of people that got that, the percentage of people that actually entered something went down dramatically when I asked for the middle number. And the percentage of correctness went down to almost nothing. Why is that? People remember the first and last thing. I was an education major, so I learned right away. Other guys would stay up and study all night. I'd be done in 5 hours because I studied in 15-minute increments. Why? Because you remember the first and last thing. So Carl, if you're doing a training, have breaks. And we're going to give you different types of breaks today, because then there's what? The first and last thing happens more often. So multiple breaks. Number 7, they want solutions to immediate problems and immediate application. 8, the differences in adults are more pronounced. This is challenging for trainers. You've got to preach principle over personality. And 9, this is key. They need assurances when taking risks, which is why we always talk hands-on help, hands-on help. My company and Davine's company and Lori's company were partners. We're all committed to 1960s customer service. Those are in the days, maybe Carl remembers this, maybe he doesn't. He looks a little younger than me, but you used to pull into a gas station in the 60s and 2 kids would run out to your car in a uniform. I was one of them. They'd run out to your car and I'd stick my head in the window and say, how many gallons do you need? Or how many dollars do you need? They'd say, give me 4, of course, $4 was 19 cents a gallon. So give me $3 worth of gas. So I'd yell back $3 and I'd wash the windshield, check the tire pressure, open the hood and check the oil. Today, if 2 kids ran out to your car, you'd lock your car thinking you were getting hijacked. This is what we call 1960s customer service, which is why you'll see people at my company do this all the time. It's why we aren't bigger than we are, because we need guides, people that have been through a 5-month training program with us to work with people. Okay, so they need, why? Because we know they need assurances. Does the hero's journey and color code strike a familiar note? In this solution, coupled with the influencer for all 9 points. Sidebar, color code is critical addition for those most important one-on-one and 2-on-1 presentations. Human nature, when people join a group, they want to accept the group. So when they pay $500 to come into your deal, or $250 or $1,000, They want to be accepted by the group. They're going to copy the behavior of the group to gain acceptance of the group so they can have a voice in the group. This is human nature. We're tribal by nature. And I don't understand network marketing companies that don't create a unified culture and all talk the same language. The bigger the group, the stronger the compulsion. This is huge. Division among leaders always leads to division among teams, even in the same household. I remember the couple I had, Jack and Betty. Jack wanted to do it my way. Betty wanted to do it Tommy's way. The interesting thing about Tommy Johnson and me, there was only 2 tiny differences between me and Tommy. I'd say build a list of 150. Tommy'd say, let's build a list of 10, 15 times. Okay, it was the same thing. But Jack and Betty talked about it for 90 days instead of what? Getting on the phone. So you need unification, standardization, and systematization. You and your leaders need agreed vocabulary. Ego out, mantras turn the trick to standardization. This creates structure, and most people want to be a part of structure, right? It's what creates a group. Understand what makes it tick is what? The subconscious and human nature. Look at there's an old song that say it's the singer, not the song. In your business, it is the singer and the song. If we don't understand the presentation dynamic, the singer is dead on arrival. Okay, so learning the construction of great presentation, you need to see this from the blimp point of view. If you get it, the exciting parts come later. What's the exciting part? Your presentations impact people and they convert, and they're easier to do in less than half the time. For me, this was exciting right away. Okay, but the results are kinetic. Understanding this will make you a world-class presenter. Not the way that I was in the 90s. I was incredible on stage doing cartwheels and massive magic tricks like David Copperfield and everything, because I didn't know what I'm sharing with you now. I impressed them, but nothing changed. So teaching them how to teach others. So here's the thing. Teaching how to present is where the money lives and grows. Teaching them how to teach others is where the lifestyle second to none comes. There's an old saying in networking. This goes back to the days when we'd write on flip charts, right? But it's whoever's holding the marker is making money. Whoever's passing the marker is getting rich. Whoever's teaching people to pass the marker is creating a lifestyle second to none. And if you want, you can have this, and you'll be able to pass it on to people, and they'll be making presentations better than you while you're playing golf or while you're on Kauai, Miriam, with your grandkids and your kids, and your income's going up. You know, Davine and I, one of the greatest thrills we had networking, we came over here for 7 weeks. We said, we got to decide if because this was in 2010 and video wasn't that great online yet and everything. And so we came over with 7 weeks, and we made a vow that we're only going to do 2 conference calls, and they were only 15 minutes, right? We came back and we timed it so we got back on a Saturday. We were trash on Sunday, of course. It's tough flying west to east. We would go to the business opportunity. We timed it so we'd be back around the biz op. And by the way, our check went up. Zango paid once a month. Our check went up both months. And so this girl who was a top producer, she says, we walked into the biz op and we're all tanned and everything. We came and stayed here for 7.5 weeks. And she comes over and she says, you guys look great. You're so tan. Wow, you guys look like you've been working out. It's incredible. It's so nice to see you. She gives a big hug and she leans into me and she says, we hope you go away. She said, you know, we're doing better since you haven't been here. Right? I mean, how good does that feel? Okay. The reality is winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. Teaching this pattern of behavior comes a habit, and so does converting. So the types of presentations, I know, Lori, this is yours, but I'm going to go over it. Remember,
Yeah.
This is one-on-one, even though we're going to teach a group.
That's right. And there's multiple reasons why we're breaking down presentations, multiple functions. John Wooden said, it's what I learn after I know it all that counts. And top leaders and builders know this, and that's why they remain humble students. So this is going to give you a better feel for each type of presentation. We're going to help go through several types today. It'll help you personalize it, because remember, you're making presentations all the time, every day, all the time. And you're going to build a group and evolve, or if you're not in network marketing, at least a client base that drowns you in referrals like we talked about Monday. That's what, it's the same thing. It's the same concept. So the pattern is going to help you do it better, and you're going to do it in less time, and you're going to become much more effective. So am I selling you here? No, you have to embrace this. You're always making presentations. We're trying to hammer this home so you understand you're doing it all the time. So there's behind this whole pattern are 9 simple steps, and it's a bit of a puzzle, but I want you to really relax because it's easy. And you know how, let me just give you an example. You know how, have you ever seen a magic trick? I mean, we're all awed by magic tricks, right? It's just wonderful and it baffles you. Like, how on earth did they do that? You know, Mark loves magic tricks. He likes being baffled. We all love it. I like card tricks. I'm like, how did you do that? You know, and bottom line is, you know, for me, it's card tricks, but what's going to happen is when you find out what they really did and how it all worked, it's like magic, right? For you, when you see the magic behind these presentations, once we break them down, you know, you're gonna love it. It's going to be the same for you, right?
Yeah. You know when your uncle pulls a quarter out from behind your ear and you're like all amazed and everything. And then like 2 years later, he does it to your little sister and you see, oh, he had it palmed. He had it palmed all the time, right? Had a palm there and you're disappointed. This is just the opposite. Because when you show your team how to put these presentations together and then they go do them, it's an even bigger hit than when you learned it. It's really fantastic.
That's right. So most people don't know the difference between objective, strategy, and tactics. The objective is what you want to accomplish, and you want to chart, you want people to experience change. You want that 1/1000th of a volt to go off in your reluctant hero, right? The strategy is the plan that we create of how presentation should go to obtain the objective that we're after. And then the tactics are the tasks that we execute to deploy the strategy so we obtain the objective. It's what Mark went through yesterday with Miriam. So the sequence is the magic. First thing is know your purpose. It's not the outline like we were all taught. Number 1 step is know your purpose.
Right. So the strategy, which is in your workbook, why am I here? Why is the audience here? And I know every time you see audience, you just see the numbers 1 to 10,000. Okay. The way that I fulfilled one of my dreams, which was to speak in front of 10,000 people, and was by making great presentations to one person. That's how it started. And what I did in front of 10,000 people wasn't any different than I did with one. The structure was the same, and every place we went, we just did one about a year ago in Orlando. They asked us to come in and speak, and we stole the convention. Not because our material was any better, but because the presentation impacted people and it converted. And we're still working with that company a year later. Okay, so why am I here? Okay, to educate or entertain. Julia Roberts, at one time, I think it's still there. She makes 20 million a movie. Teachers get paid 45,000. So stop trying to educate people, Arthur. Okay. Of course, you've got to educate them a little bit, make it fun, make it entertaining. What does the Julia Roberts teachers graphic have to do with anything? People would rather pay for entertainment than information. They care more about a movie that Julia Roberts than their kids' education. And believe me, I taught in the public school system. More than 40% of the parents, the first time they showed up at school was about 3 months before the kid was graduating and wanted to know why they weren't getting into Harvard. Okay. Crazy. But anyway, the best MLM presenters are entertainers. I want to do a little bit of both. The proof is in the printout. Okay. So whites, you need to loosen up a little bit. Okay. Just think about that. Yellows, you need to get some information. Why is the audience here? It's a combo. But if you come from the place of trying to hit all 4 of these, you will fail. It will not be world class. Are you there to inform, demonstrate, inspire, or persuade? And of course, you know, we don't want to persuade anybody. We want to influence. So change the word persuade to influence. So we're going to discuss, we're going to pick one. We'll pick BizOp. Okay. We'll get to one-on-one coaching after this. So why is the audience here? Pros, get this. This is where your presentation starts. So finally now, after the 3.5 hours the other day and an hour plus today, now we're going to put together the presentation. And we love your patience. We're appreciative of that. But remember this foundation: color code, influencer, right? Are you with me? You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, these things are important. You have the foundation. When it's over, Carl, what do you want that audience to think, feel, say, and do? What do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? Amateurs start with the outline. I did. And of course, I had all this important content, the history of the company, and how things were changing in the world, and why health and nutrition, blah, 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 blah. I was almost falling asleep during my own presentations. Pros start with 4 questions and the audience's perspective, okay? If you're presenting or training in your business, you're talking to 3 people, Miriam: the child, the adult, and the parent, both prospecting and training. The child, when you show them the money, I want the money, I want the money, I want the money. That's one of the 3 people that you're talking to. They're all in the same head. The adult's going to say, well, what would the child have to do to get the money? And then the parent is the one that gives approval. So this is interesting when you're putting a presentation together, to realize you're talking to all 3 people. It's not that complicated. People resist change because they think it's a risk. They're less likely to move forward with the unfamiliar. There's the real meaning of the 80-20 rule. They're more likely to move forward with the regular. Write this down. It's on the quiz. Avoid jargon. Don't use jargon. Okay? Use simple, familiar language. 7th grade language. Okay? Standardized functional language. So build in key mantras. It's been said that people need to hear things 7 different times, 7 different ways from 7 different people, so that it becomes familiar. Boy, does it make a difference if Julie Baptista's team, if no matter who they hear, they're hearing the same basic fundamental thing. The hero journey value helps them summon courage, combining them hearing the same thing in the same language, plus their hero's journey. Forget about it. They can't wait for you to end so that they can enroll. We're always presenting. Now we're going to flip-flop a few times. Sometimes a group presentation, sometimes one-on-one. We'll make it clear, or raise your hand. Okay. The purpose, because you're actually going to build this and we're going to help you with it hands-on. Okay. So it's a little complicated from what you've normally been through, but you're going to love it. So just raise your hand if you don't understand what to do. By bouncing back and forth, by having Julie bounce back and forth between building a presentation as she's presenting to a group or presenting her business, and then another presentation where she's presenting how to get started to a new person, by bouncing back and forth and seeing it's the same thing, what do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? The close, the opening, and then the outline. By bouncing back and forth, trust me, just like you got so much right with the colors today, this is compressed learning. You will learn this, okay? You will learn this. So, you've got step 2 meeting worksheets, okay? We're gonna go back and do that. We're gonna go back to this several times, so keep them handy. One for your joint effort in a room that we're gonna put you in, for the company called Acme Health and Nutrition. It's a made-up company, okay? So you're going to build a presentation, forget about your company, with other people. And when we put you in a room, the person's a name that would be first in alphabetical order. They're the leader in the room, okay? Reds, don't take over. Don't be bullies, Reds, okay? And then this, so you have 2 of these. So then when we come back out, the leaders will share what the group came up with, and then you're going to steal and build your own. We call it appropriate. Julie, it's appropriate to appropriate. I think it's cool that both those words are spelled the same. You've got new distributor training. You've got a distributor training too. Again, one for the room that you're going to work on together, one to take the best of what you hear based on your perception of your company and what you like best to build your own. We're going to go nice and slow. So relax. We hope you're excited. We're going to build a presentation with everyone. The only reason you don't build a presentation, Arthur, is you just don't take out your pen and write. That's it. Okay. For this workshop, we'll define the recruiting sales cycle this way. 3-step plan. At step 1, we strike interest, sort, and book a follow-up. At step 2, we share the business, product, or service. Step 3, we collect a decision. Okay. So let's not confuse the steps of a presentation with the 3-step plan. So grab a couple of step 2 meeting worksheets. Okay. Together in small groups, you're going to build one for Acme.
So Mark, just a couple things. I put the link in the control panel if anybody doesn't have it. I've had a couple of you asking where the workbook for today is. It's on the concierge page that Mark just showed you. The first several pages are these worksheets we're talking about. So you should have them by now, and I just put the link in there. Remember, this is a step 2 business opportunity meeting for Acme Corporation. We're going to put all of you in these rooms. You're going to want to accept it when you're given the instruction to join the room. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So let
when,
me just say something, Lori, okay? Just
sure.
want to show them this. And just to save time, so you know, I don't have my sheet, I can't do it. All you got to do is write down step 2 presentation like that. That's all you got to do. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going to write here, step 1. Okay. Think, feel, say, do. Okay. So whoever the leader is, you're going to make one up like this anyway. So you just write, think, feel, say, do.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what you're going to want to do, Katie, of course, is carry this both on Friday and Saturday, because we're going to do the rest of the steps. Once this step is done, the rest of them write like butter. Okay. They write like butter. And you'll find out why your outlines that you're using are nightmares and they're too long and they don't make any sense.
Totally.
And I know some of you will be embarrassed by that. I wasn't. I was ecstatic because it meant I could do a quarter of the work and convert instead of 10%, 90%. Okay, so we're back to the sheet. Okay, so Lori,
When you're done with your presentation, when it's over, what do you want your audience to think? What do you want them to say? What do you want them to feel? And what do you want them to do? And remember, this is a business opportunity meeting for Acme Corporation, for that's the company, fictitious company. So for example, what do you want them to do? We'll join. That would be an example. Maybe it's something else for you. So these all need to be one short, simple sentence or phrase, and that's it. Not multiple sentences, not a long dissertation. A word or two is fine, okay? And do it quickly. You're going to get 5 minutes in here, so get right away your spokesperson figured out alphabetically. Don't spend too much time on that, and then collaborate and get these answered.
so
One
a
short,
box,
simple.
a box
Right.
is going to pop up and just click join.
There you
So
go.
we got 60 people.
I got
So
10 rooms.
yeah,
Okay, so here we go.
here we go.
Hey, gang. I'm hanging in there.
Good job, Day. I think everybody's in. That's
I
great.
think you guys are doing super, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. They're all in there. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Hey. Hello.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing okay. I'm going through treatments this week, so I'm kind of hanging in there.
Hmm. What kind, if
Oh,
you
I'm
don't
going,
mind me asking?
no, I don't mind going back through immunizations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've
Yeah,
had,
you're gonna feel crappy, huh?
yeah, for a little while.
I always felt so bad for my kids when they had to have them, and they just could be miserable and they don't want to do anything. And I
Yeah,
just would feel bad for them. God, I don't
that's
remember that. I don't remember, you don't remember getting immunizations as a kid and what
yeah,
it feels like.
that's kind of where I'm at right now. But so I'm just hovering in the dark here. Uh,
Well, we're good if you want to go rest. I'm gonna be here the whole time.
oh, good. Well, I might do that. I'll kind of go in and out. I still want to make sure I'm up to speed on everything we're covering too. So I'm getting caught up.
Take care of
Thank
yourself.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're more important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we rushed them there a little bit.
Did you say rush?
Yeah, I think we rushed them in there.
No, I wouldn't worry about your timing or rushing or anything. Don't even give it another thought.
They'll get it here because it's repetitive.
And there's a lot of people that already know it and they can help the other people in the breakout rooms because you've got about 36% new people here. So
We're way ahead of last time too. Decently.
Time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I spent enough time. I've done this before where selling them, and it's a correctable thing with slides, but selling them on the idea that deciding why you're there, right? Are
Yeah.
you there to inform, demonstrate, whatever? But anyway, it's all good. So we're doing good.
Mark, how do I?
Oh.
there she goes.
I'm way ahead of you.
Right, you just threw in another
That
room.
was
I just threw
awesome.
in a room. You guys, when I work out with my brother and sister in the morning, he does the mark. I call it the mark because we're all, if he's got stuff he wants to talk about, he'll stay on. But usually it's 9, we're off, right? And he'll go, "That was a great workout." And he'll say, "I'll see you all." And before the word tomorrow's out, he's gone. And he was in the military. Mark we'll talk, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's saying thank you, and the U doesn't come out because he's gone. So we always just say, "George out." I just did that with Julie. That's what we used to do in the military. George out, Mark out,
Julie out.
Julie
I was
out.
right. I had the breakouts open.
Oh,
I
you
was getting
did?
ready to, yeah, you were like 3 seconds ahead of me.
Well, Bedford came in again, and so did she, and I do it right away. So, oh, there she
She's out again.
Okay.
Maybe she wants to tell us something. She might want to tell us something.
Okay. Hi, Julie. You're muted.
Could you get me over to room 6,
Oh,
please?
okay. Sure.
Thank you.
Room preferences. I like that.
Yeah.
You're a room snob.
Oh, what? 1,
A
2.
room snob.
Yeah, there's one choice here that says let people choose their own. My God, we need to give them 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're an anti-dentite.
Oh, now we're going to Seinfeld. Oh, that was funny.
Had me to cut her off.
Hey, Davine, I was just looking it up. Stephanie finally redid the test in our account. So if you can upgrade her for us, please.
Sure. I could have had her moved. I didn't know.
Oh,
I
and
can always email them and ask them if they'll move a regular color code person into our account.
Well, we may ask about Drim. I haven't been able to find his either.
Okay, I'll email her about Trim.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
And
no, I upgraded Drem. He's in there.
what is
Hold
he
on, I'll have
under?
a look.
Yeah, I was just in there looking for Stephanie, but I couldn't find him.
Did those people get those things to Drew, do you know? I'm not to Drew,
Get what
to
things?
Brad.
Brad.
I have 4 right now that we posted.
Are
And
they the new
Daveen,
people?
did
Are they the new
Brad
people?
was gonna put him in Go High Level, Daveen, but I guess he's not admin right now. I think you took him out while we were
Oh,
trying
I
to
took
work
all
these
admins
problems.
out.
Yeah,
Yes, I did. I
so if you
panicked.
could make him admin again. No, I can get in there. So he's been sending stuff to me and I've been posting it.
We ready?
Okay.
Brad?
Give them a couple more minutes.
But that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, Brad, go high level. And was there something else?
And Drem and Stephanie
Drem.
upgraded. Yeah.
I'm gonna forward the email that I sent to Drem to you, and then you'll have the link. And I will upgrade Stephanie right now.
Okay, great. Because I've got a Zoom with Drem and Peaches in the morning, so I can share it with them then.
I think this is gonna be all in the recording, you guys.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't think about that, but I'm not sure. Clip
I
it.
can chop it out quick, Laurie.
No, that's all right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it's on Lori's account, Davine.
I can still get it to her. I always put it
All
in.
I need is the video. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's by tonight, it'll be in Dennis's Dropbox folder. I can even tell you where we're at time wise, so. I put it in there and he puts it in video.
It's noon, so we're at 90 minutes, right?
No, yeah, no, we're almost at 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, we're at 1 hour.
Didn't we start at 10:30? Oh, no, we started at 10. I thought it was
Mhm.
10:30. Yeah, 2 hour mark. Got it.
Right before that.
Oh, Mark left? Okay.
About 1 hour and 15 minutes, Davine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll be able to see that it's just the 4 of us, so I'll
Mhm.
be able to find it easy.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab some water now.
We lost him.
I hear him talking.
Hmm.
He might have needed to call somebody.
Okay.
How much time? He needs to get back on now, yeah?
Yeah,
You
pretty
gotta let him
quick.
back in.
I'll wait for him.
Yeah, I can still hear him talking. I'll go
Well,
down and see what he's doing.
they're gonna all be settling down each other's confusion the first time in these, so it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It'll take depending on the room, it'll take them a while to figure out who's their spokesperson and all that.
I had so much
Oh,
fun
he's-
on this retreat. 30 women trying to figure out what colors they are.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. Yeah.
Oh, fun. I bet you did. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, because most of them I don't know. So it was, and then talking to them in their color and watching them like, it was so
Wow,
much
that's
fun.
so cool. That's really awesome. Where was it? Well, we can talk about it later. He went into a room.
Co-AA. I went up to Co-AA.
You did. Okay.
There's a camp where we're going to do live event because it is so amazing.
Wow, that's cool. That's really awesome. Was it the one?
Look it up. Camp Hale Koa.
Oh,
Okay, I'm
okay.
letting Phyllis in. Do you want me to put her in a room? Oh, she's in.
She's in. I'd put her in 7, but you could.
There she is. Okay.
Mark's chatting in room 6 with people.
Oh, that's why I hear him talking. Should we go in a room?
We could.
Oh, that's fun. I want to try.
Okay.
I'm going to try a room.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which one are you going to go in?
I'm going to go in 7.
Why does it say you're not joined? Oh, well, there you go.
What happened to Davine? Did she hop in a room too?
She hopped in one too. We were just a minute ago.
Okay. All right, let's bring them back.
Yeah, it's gonna take like a minute, I think, to get them all back anyway, so 60 seconds. I don't know, we gotta find my place again. There we are.
Here's Brian.
Yeah,
I was just in a room with Brian.
you were? He's first
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
Probably
he
because
has
of his
there's
last
this
name.
sense of confidence around him that's compelling.
That's right.
Just you seem very. It just hit me. Your presence just makes me. It just is a presence of confidence, but not arrogance. It's really nice. Really nice.
There we go.
There's Wayne the Wall
Miriam?
Lewis. So they'll trickle in here.
If I may ask a quick question, Mark. How did
Why
you
not?
put us into breakout rooms now?
It's just a
It's-
tab. It's just a.
As
it's a-
host, have you got a different control that allows that?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me mute some people here.
Good. Is everybody back here? No, not yet. Yeah, I guess everybody's back. Okay.
Yeah,
Number one,
everybody's back.
did you guys have fun?
I did.
Was
Yes,
anybody
we
in a
had
room-
fun.
Yeah, we had
Yes?
fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Anybody in a room with a red that took over and you wanted to kill? Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Or a-
some Mandy's nodding.
Or a room with a blue that pouted if she didn't get her way. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is ask you guys to participate. So whoever was the leader in the room, now this is where you want to make some notes, and we were talking about this, the room I was with Brian and Christina and Baptista and all that. What you want to do is listen, because you have another step 2. That's when we share our business. That's the presentation we're building. The step 2, the business presentation. So as you hear things, Miriam, that sound good for think or feel, you might want to make a note, because what you're going to do after we share this, then you're going to build the one for yourself. So maybe you like 2 of the ideas in your room, but 2 of them you were a little iffy on, they didn't go your way. One of the things I was explaining in the room that I was in, Monique, is that you're learning to work with other people. You're learning to work with total strangers, and how important it is to include everybody, right? So one of my old tricks that I learned on a TED Talk that's amazing was, when we have a question, I tell people to put that I want a puzzle we want to solve, a problem we want to solve with my team. I say, take your pen and put it in your non-dominant hand. And here's the question, and write it down. And then you go around the room and ask people, because when it goes from, if you're right-handed, put in a left hand or vice versa, it turns on a different side of your brain. And what happens then, Albertos, is then you go around and say, and what did you get, Day? And what did you get, Brian? And what do you have, Monique? And what do you have, man? And this creates inclusion. Because if you're going to be a team, you need to include people, which is why you've heard me use several different names here. Okay. Anyway, so as we go through this, so anybody that was a team leader, or was this, we'll say spokesperson, probably a better word. Anybody that was a spokesperson want to share the think, feel, say, do that they had for their team? Go ahead, Peter.
All righty, yeah, it was quite fun trying to figure all this out and who was going to speak and work together, like you said. Anyway, so we want our audience to think, I can do this. We want them to feel confident I can make this money. I can do that. And then we want them to say yes. how do I get started? And do is just join.
Nice.
You have the idea. Nice staccato things. Because what's going to happen, Carl? What's going to happen, Albert? What's going to happen, Pat King? What's going to happen, Nastasha? You know, my first crush was Nastasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle when I was a little boy. Boris Bednoff and Nastasha, she had that tiny little waist. But anyway, so that was the only cartoon I watched, the J Moore Productions. Anyway, what's going to happen is what did you like that he said? And you might want to note that for your think, feel, say, do. Brian, what do you got for your team? Good job, Peter.
Do you want to think, feel, say, and do, or you want the whole presentation?
No, you don't have a presentation. We're not even there yet. Think, feel, say, and do.
We wanted to see if it will work, to feel excited and optimistic about it. We wanted to say yes, and we wanted to collect a
I
decision.
missed the first one. What is think?
See if they will, see if it will work. See if it'll work for them. See if they can do it. This is pretty much what the last guy said.
Okay. Think,
And
feel,
excited, excited about it, and say we want them to say yes, but we want to collect a decision.
so do is collect a decision.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good job. Couple of holes there. Good job. What do you got, Katie?
Sounds like a great idea or opportunity. That's
You
the
need to
think
find,
part.
could just give us the words first, because other people, folks, it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
appropriate to
So to
appropriate.
think-
Remember, hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Katie. What color are you? Blue?
Me?
Yeah,
Combo, yellow, red.
yellow, red, perfect, okay. So, remember, you're here to appropriate, Thora. It's okay to steal other people's ideas here. Don't forget, you're gonna put your own step to think, feel, say, do together. And that's the next exercise. So listen. So it's easier for people to appropriate if you give us think, feel, say, do.
Okay. Okay, so I want them to think, we want them to think in their own minds that this sounds great. It's like a great idea or a great opportunity. We want them to feel excited and hopeful. We want them to say, yes, I can do this. So positive, affirmative,
Nice.
nodding. And do sign up, join, book the next appointment.
Beautiful.
Because they're like, okay, so what do I do next? Like, I'm ready
Yep.
to go now, right? What do I do
Yeah,
next?
fantastic,
That's
fantastic.
great.
You catch that yellow enthusiasm all the way through this. Her core motive is in play, which is nice. So what you don't want to do, if you're a white or a red, is miss that and start telling them about facts, figures, and what needs to be done. Just schedule one thing at a time with everybody, but particularly yellows, and say what worked. Let's build this around your life. Put their life first, because they're going to do their life first anyway. Yellows are great teachers. Okay, Pat King, what do you got?
Okay, for think, I've got, this is what I'm looking for.
Nice.
For feel, we've got great, I feel great about it, feel optimistic. For say, I'm ready, what do I do next? D, for do would be enroll or join.
Wow.
Nice.
And I like Kate's schedule another appointment.
That's great.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, Wayne.
Okay, for think, we've said that it's the best company to represent, feel that they can do it, say that they want to get started, and do by being part of the team.
What was the second thing?
That they feel they can do it.
Folks, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant feel. That's brilliant. Because remember, there's only three things in their head. Can I make any money? What would I have to do? Can I do it? So he's addressed that. So what we're doing is creating a mission. Now, everything that we put in the presentation in steps 2, 3, and 4, because 5 through 9 is polishing and bringing it from good to great. So we're foundational stuff here. But everything that belongs or doesn't belong in, no matter how much you might like something, Katie, if it doesn't fulfill the mission, it doesn't belong in there. Doesn't mean it's not a great piece of information. It doesn't belong in there. And some stuff that might seem ho-hum, if it's going to create that, wow, I feel I can do this, then it belongs in there. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. You guys are doing great. Thora, what do you got?
Well, we had an interesting group. Mandy tried to get it.
What color are you?
I'm red. Mandy was yellow blue, and she tried to get people to talk, and I felt sorry for her, so I came on with my camera because I'm a shy red, but so I felt bad, so I wrote down some things for us, and to think that we care about them and that, you know, that we will help them. How to feel is that they can do it and that their needs are going to be met. And what to say is that they to ask us, say, yes, I want to do this, and I know you will support me. And then, of course, to join. And I did like the one that schedule your next.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a little careful of that, schedule the next thing. Okay. But I'm not saying it's,
Okay.
I'm not saying it's no, I'm just saying that you don't want to get too broad on this stuff, because the broader you are, the more stuff you're going to add into the presentation. And is it going to make it more impactful or less impactful? Okay. Which when we get to Saturday and we show you why 99% of all outlines are garbage, including every one I ever wrote until I figured this out, was I was trying to do too many things, which doesn't mean Katie's great idea doesn't belong in there. Okay. But this is what you get to do, experiment with, and say, you know what, this is great. That after they join, what do I want them to do? Schedule the next appointment, or maybe you want to do it here. But this is the great thing about what you're doing, you know, and that you're already appropriating, Thora. That is awesome. That's what you're supposed to do. What do you got, Monique?
Okay, so we had a great group. We were all red and we had a yellow rep. So we want our person to think that it's going to be fun, it's going to be easy, this is a great opportunity, they're here at the right place at the right time. We want them to feel wanted, that this is achievable and something that they can do. And we want them to say, well, we know it's all about them and how we can help them get to their goals in a fun way. And we want them to act and be ready and to know that this looks like a lot of fun and to join us.
So I'm just going to evaluate this off the top. It's way too much stuff.
Way too much stuff.
Way too much shit. Okay. There's nothing in there that isn't wonderful.
I understand.
You're going to lose them in the presentation because because if this is your mission, then you need to substantiate in the mission. You need to substantiate those things, and they're going to get lost. So this is tough to cut it down, but this is how you see most network marketing presentations, and they're walking away. They don't understand it. And it's not that they don't understand what you said. They don't understand how it all fits together. And you'll find this out on Saturday with the outline, but I'll give you a little hint right up front. No more than 3 main points and no more than 2 subtopics on any of the main points. And here's what's really critical. Just because you can have 3 main and 2 minor on each main point doesn't mean you should. And the more stuff I cut out, the higher the conversion was. Why? Because when they're coming to the meeting, if you put them in their own hero's journey before, they're coming to join. So what do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? There's not a thing that you said that wasn't wonderful, but there's 2 to 4 phrases at each one. And Lori was clear, a clear, simple thing. Okay,
Got
does
it.
that make sense? So when we get to a new distributor training, which we're gonna do next, how to onboard it, you know, the onboarding of someone. It's gonna be the same pattern. You're gonna go and what you think, feel, say, do, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, the first thing I teach is never get off the phone until you schedule the next appointment. So I am not gonna have that in a business presentation. Because I gotta substantiate that and explain that. You follow what I'm saying? I want them to join. So I'm gonna go with my mentor, who I lost a couple of years ago. He's moved on to the next adventure. We became friends in 1978, worked together for a year and a half, went in separate ways, and just remained best friends. Just a great guy. He always just say, he said, Mark, I know your heart's in the right place. Sell them first, educate them later. Sell them first, educate them later. Okay. Now, this all has to do with, like, if you're heart driven like Katie, then you can do that. If you're greedy, yeah, then it's not the right thing to do because you'll tend to exaggerate. Okay, which we don't want to do. Brian, Lori wants to know how to pronounce your last name. I'm intrigued.
It's Arundel.
Aridel, okay. So what do you want him to think? Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get into Brian's room for a minute. What do you got? Think, feel, say, and do, Brian?
I want them to think that this is the right team.
Nice.
I want them to feel confident. I want them to say that I can do this, and I want them to enroll.
No, that is clear and succinct. Anybody not understand what Brian team's mission is? It's clear, right? So how much easier is it going to be to build a presentation versus the one that we just heard from Monique, which everything was wonderful, just too many choices. Beautiful. Okay. Now the fun begins for you guys. Okay. So now we did Acme Health and Nutrition. Okay. Now what you're going to do is do it again. Okay. But this time work on your own step 2. And again, it's free. Feel free to appropriate anything you heard from any one of these wonderful people. You might have liked inside Monique stuff or Kate stuff. Oh, I really like that. It's fine. So you're going to build yours, but now instead of for Acme, Pat, you're building it for your company. You're building it for your company. What do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? And we'll give you guys 5 minutes because this is your mission. Again, Lori told you at the beginning, most people start with the outline. I did. And how do we put an outline together? We look at everything that our company is so wonderful about that we believe in, and we build that in there, which has nothing to do with the prospect's reason for coming to the meeting. And I want you to remember something. This is important. Okay. I talked about it here. So one of the things that you want to think about while you're putting together your presentation is you'll never be world-class if you try to do all 4 of these things. Now, Katie gets on stage, she's not going to sing in the same song. Rap, country western, saloon singer, which is my favorite. Okay. And she's got that rap. She's got that little tiny rasp in her voice, which is awesome. Okay. And opera. She can't do all 4 and be world-class. But I know with her voice, she could do any one of the 4 and be world-class. So when you're presenting, are you there to inform, demonstrate, persuade, or influence? And it doesn't matter what it is. This should be sort of picked inside your core motive, unless you know you have a blue coming to the table, in which case, you know, you're probably going to want to inspire a blue that they can have more intimacy or inform a white. Okay. But anyway, so we're back to your thing. So you are now writing your own step 2. So for example, Stephen Penn is with a capital raising company. So what does he want them to think, feel, say, and do? He's going to write it in relation to a company called Banage. And I know that Katie's with a company, wonderful MLM called New You Life. Right? As a matter of fact, here's their product right there. I love supporting the industry. Got about 9 different companies, including Lori's company's product is in my closet. So you're building this based on your company, which may influence what you want them to think, feel, say, and do. But I really liked what everybody said. And I think I've made enough points. And any more blathering will create confusion. What do you, go ahead. Give them
No,
5,
so
yeah.
we'll give them 5, right? Yeah,
Yep, and they can stay right in this room.
great.
So we're not doing anything different. We can redo, I mean, if we like what it is that we have and it fits for us, we just keep the same, and if, whatever.
Yeah, and take
Okay.
under advisement some of the things that we talked about with people about multiple things. Is it 4 clear, succinct things? Because your entire presentation is built on the mission. Is the mission clear enough to you? Doesn't mean that you understand all. It means, is it clear to you is a big mistake. You need to see this from the prospect's point of view. That's the tricky part. Because we all love what we do, and it's human nature to take the things that we struggled with and try to get those in there. Okay. Neutralize the things that we struggle with. Yeah.
Mark, question. Is it appropriate, and how do you address the needs of someone as opposed to health and then the business opportunity? Do we address both of them in this, or just one of them?
That's in step 4. Don't worry about it. Get the mission right. I know that you are very product driven. Okay. You're very product driven.
But I don't know whether that's necessarily the correct thing.
Well, how's it working out for you?
For the most people, I don't think that well. It takes too long.
Yeah. Okay. And that's sell them first, educate them later. Why do people join network marketing companies? Why do people become entrepreneurs? We've been over this almost half the first day, the hero's journey, and the first hour of today is they join for the hope of a different outcome.
Yeah.
The fact that you have a wonderful product, and you do have a wonderful product. It's an amazing product. When people hear product, they think they have to sell.
Yeah. And
That takes 95% out of play, and it's not a made-up number. At Britannica, Mutual New York, and Combined Insurance, I was a top producer and got pulled into management programs. And they took me behind closed doors and they showed me statistics. And they said, we're going to bring you prospects to hire for our company. Your job is to figure out whether or not they're lying, because 95% of the people don't want to sell. And Britannica showed me different statistics than Combined Insurance, and they showed me different statistics than Mutual New York, where they had got them from, but they were all the same. 95% of the people don't want to sell. So I've never been a fan of a product lead. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, but it takes a long time. The nice thing about bringing people in with a product lead, if they have a product experience, they never leave. But that doesn't belong here. What do you want people that you present to think, feel, say, and do?
Hope.
Okay. Everybody got it done? Anybody that hasn't shared, would they like to share what they had originally in their mind, what came out of the group? And we don't care about that because that's happened. What has yours evolved to? If you'd love to share that, we'd love to hear from you. And again, if you hear something, Roland, that's better than what you wrote down, steal it, man. Miriam, what do you got? You gotta see that beautiful smiling yellow face.
There we go. So I want him to think that together we can do this. So the emphasis is on a team. Feel I can do this and have confidence. Say, yes, I'm ready, and do enroll.
There's a mission.
Okay.
Nice, simple, clear.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice, simple, clear. Right. You know, one of the reasons the Infinity car line was so successful? When people came to the dealership, that was my first big goal, was I wanted a J30. I don't know if you remember that Infinity J30, but it looked like a baby Jaguar. Just had these beautiful rounded lines in the front and the back. So when I went in to get the J30, there weren't any options. It was, every J30 was the same. They were loaded with everything. You got the sunroof, the heated seat. There wasn't any choices to make. Okay, that's what we're doing here with ourselves when we put a mission together. So what goes in and what doesn't go in is clear to us. Anybody else want to share? Make your mistakes here.
I'll
I would like to share something.
Go ahead, Christina.
Okay.
What-
Well, it's all very new to me, although I've been around, I haven't really been doing any of this. So I'm like kind of at the real beginning. So I really hear the message about being clear and don't talk too much. Don't say extra. But I want them to feel excited. I want them to see the benefit. And because they can see the benefit,
Hold on a minute. You're already down rat holes. What do you want them to think? Simple,
I want
simple
them to
phrase.
think I can do this.
Okay.
This
What do you
can be
want
for
them,
me.
what do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel the benefit. I want them to feel excited.
Stop.
Okay.
I want them to feel the benefit. Okay, great. What do you want them to say?
Yes.
Okay. And
Let's get going.
What do you want them to do?
I want them to immediately go to the place that I tell them to go online and take the steps they need to take.
Reduce it to one word. What do you want them to do?
Get active. Do
One
action.
word.
Action.
One word. You want them to join, right?
Action.
I don't want them to go to my website. I want them to join.
Yeah, action. Well, right.
No,
I want them to
no.
join.
We're giving you I'm giving you feedback here.
I appreciate it.
Okay. I do not want them to go to my website. I do not want them to take action. I want them to join.
But don't
We're
they have to
talking
go
about
there?
You're missing the point. You're putting in other stuff
Okay.
that's going to create confusion in the presentation, and it's weak.
Okay.
It's weak. I want them to take action and go to my website.
Right. Like I thought they had to go there in order to click to join. So
What do you want them to do?
to join.
Stop. There you go. Beautiful. You're great at taking feedback. Nice job.
I feel I'm
Fantastic.
really in sync already.
You are. Well, that's
about
you know, I
time.
really want to appreciate you in this, because this is what happens. We don't realize, because you have experience with your company, you believe in what they're doing, or you believe in the possibilities and all that stuff. You want to put all that in there. They are not joining for that.
Okay.
They're joining for, Miriam is joining to take 14 people on vacation a couple of times a year for 2 or 3 weeks. And I really loved it when she said first class tickets, and that she's already priced them. Okay. Because first class from Boston round trip is 3,300 times 14 people. And you know what I'm thinking as a red? This is going to be awesome. She's going to make a shitload of money. I'm going to get her so committed. Roland gets me. He's a red scene. Yeah, keep driving up what you need, baby, because I'm going to help you get there. Wayno, what you got, buddy?
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you
so
so much. You helped all of us, Christina.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I'm speaking is already big step.
Beautiful. Congratulations. Much gratitude. What you got, Wayno?
okay, to think that this is what they are looking for, that they feel that they can do this, that they say, I found what I'm looking for, and they come on board immediately.
It's good. It's good. It's clear to you, right? Okay.
I really
let's-
like the immediately there.
I do
Okay?
too.
Not next week, not when their daughter gets married, not when they have the, hangnail removed. Now, I want them to join now.
Yeah. So how am I? What you got?
I've got, I want them to think that this bunch looks like a wonderful team who achieves their own dream. The bunch, meaning us, meaning my team. I want them to feel that I can do it as well. And I want them to say, I feel I belong here. And I
Nice.
want them to join the team and pursue their dream.
Nice. Simple, concise, beautiful.
Good job.
Alina, beautiful. And good for you for staying up late. What's it, 12:30 at night over there? See, you're still in France. We?
Yes, I'm in my bed.
That's good.
You're here.
That's good.
Great.
Fighting
you know what they say.
fighting the sleep.
Yeah, for a network marketing, you gotta eat, dream, and sleep it, and that's what she's doing. What do you got, Alina? We need to see you on camera, my friend.
Unmute. Okay. So I have become partners.
Tell us what the words are. Think, feel, say, do, or whatever word you have in it, it's fine.
Think this is what I want to do. This will further my personal mission. I
What do you
will
want them to
provide.
feel?
I want them to feel like their time versus money. And I want them to join now.
Okay. A little bit of work in each. Some of it's too wordy, but you're doing good. I'll work on this with you on our one-on-one. Nancy Aiken, good job. Gaston,
Thank
you're
you.
the bomb, baby.
Thanks.
You're the bomb. What do you have, Nancy? Can we see you and unmute you? Let's try you, Peter. Peter Ba.
All right, so this is for a vacation, summer vacation at that lake behind me here.
Beautiful.
I need
like
a
that he
vacation.
put summer in there.
Yeah, it's you're in Hawaii. Come on. So think I need a vacation. Feel I'm excited. Say let's go there, and do book a vacation. We're doing it on vacation rental by owner.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice and simple and clear. Katie, you got another pass here?
Oh, what?
Did you want to take another pass?
Yes, a pass? Like
Well,
do it
you
again?
know,
Yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I want them to think I'm in the right place at the right time.
Mhm.
To feel excited and that they can do this, to say yes, and to join immediately.
Yeah. So you see what she's done is she's trimmed it down.
Inappropriate.
Beautiful. That's a mission that anybody could understand that doesn't even know Katie, which is what we're doing. Christine Quinlan. You have to unmute.
There, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Perfectly.
Okay, so mine's a little unusual because it relates to a game that I'm developing. So I want them to think, I want to be part of this great team and mission. I want them to feel excited and up for the challenge. I want them to say, yes, this is wonderful and fun and changes lives. I want them to join now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. See what's happening. You have to realize, number one builder with a record setter with Combined, Number one with Mutual New York and New England, which was the biggest area. Number three in the world with Britannica. Okay, and hit the top pin level. The presentation everywhere was the same. It was what do I want people to think, feel, say, and do, which is where I finally developed when I got into management, where I just ended up screaming, not in a really healthy way. Okay, because I was a toxic red at the time, but never do anything unless you know why you're doing it. That's the point of putting this mission together, Roland. That's the point, Christina. So that when you put the presentation together, you'll know why you're doing what you're doing. Never do anything unless you know why you're doing it. Why is that piece of information in there? How does it fit the mission? But it's really important. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't belong there. It might be on the first appointment that you have with them when you join them, because everything about Planned Partner Company, it is not for prospects. So Katie enrolls me on her team, and I start to learn more about Alexi, and I start to learn more about Somaderm and another product that has made a big difference for me. It's the little powder, that brain packet powder. It's crazy. My chest scores have gone up, and I didn't think much of it. And then I ran out. I just tried it, and my chest scores went down. Didn't think anything of it. Got some more in, they went up. Now I'm without it, and they're back down. So I've just ordered some more. Like I said, I support the industry. I get these products from, I'm going to say 9 network marketing companies up there. But this is important. So if she enrolls me with New You Life, that information is to help convict me of what a great decision I made, to build my belief in the company, to fortify my integrity. So when I'm representing it to Christine or Nancy or Pat or Peter Barr, guess what? I feel good about what I'm representing. I'm sure that I'm with the right place. That's not why people join. Now, once in a while it is, okay? There's never any absolutes, but Reds don't work in absolutes, okay? In the minors. They work on absolutes in the majors. And I want to get people that are going to enroll in the business. They're going to know what they would have to do, and they believe they can do it. And then I'm going to be able to coach them up. That's the thing. Because that's, no matter how much you believe in your product, Brian, builders are going to put the product in more people's hands than product people are. It's just the way it is. Is it fair? No. What does that have to do with anything? We either deal with reality or, and like you, Brian, I'm an idealist trapped in an imperfect world. And Davine's got to remind me on a regular basis, the world's not perfect. Yes, it is. It's perfect where it's evolved. And I'm trying to evolve it my way rather than inside the reality. And so this mission, like the one that you just put together, who's the wonderful redhead that was just here? Anyway, sorry, Christine. Yeah. So she's, I don't know about you, but she's made me curious about her game. Just off the mission alone. It's fantastic because she put fun and change in there, which is awesome. Who doesn't want to be part of change? Because everybody thinks of change as, oh boy, this is going to be fun to quit smoking, or this is going to be fun to lose 50 pounds, So you got me. Let's see. Nancy Aiken, we finally got you on camera by the Golden Gate Bridge. What's your think, feel, say, do?
Well, I want him to think this is a great opportunity for me to help my family. I want him to feel excited that they can help their family. I want them to say, I can do this. And what I want them to do is I want them to pull out their credit card and join.
Okay, I love her. Are you a red?
No.
Okay, what color are you?
I'm a white.
Oh, beautiful. She's got the they're going to join, they're going to have a credit card. I would change the word family to others, because you may be with someone that doesn't have a family, or you could, help others. This will help others. They'll automatically go to family first. Does that make sense? Tiny change. It's really about outreach. Okay, so we're good. you know, you drop them in the hero's journey, which is great. And now, so that you guys really understand the pattern, we're gonna give you a couple pieces of information, then we're gonna repeat the exercise. So, hey, team, always think team. If you know that you can build a team, okay, this is important. American corporations spend more money on education than all public and private schools from kindergarten through graduate school combined. Combined. Okay? They spend over 95% of that on three things. Anyone who want to take a guess at what those three things are?
Productivity,
They'll
time
never get it.
management.
It's so crazy.
Oh, we're not seeing any answers come in and people are baffled. And you should know this. Okay? What the job is.
Yeah.
Number two, how to do the job. And number three, how to prevent people, places, and things from interfering with the job. American corporations, like them or not, they're greed or not, whatever, the reality is they're the pace setters in the world. And the reason is they spend more money on education than all schools, public and private, from kindergarten through graduate school, and they spend 95% of it on those three things. Remember, if you want to build teams that build teams without you, your training should focus on what the job is, how to do the job, and how to prevent people, places, and things from interfering with the job. I sat in on trainings. I wanted to become a great speaker. I wanted to become #1 speaker with Market America, and I did. As a matter of fact, I became so powerful as a speaker only because I put presentations together that impacted and converted. And we were all teaching off the same basic outline, but my presentations were so much better that I was booked 2 years out, and there was so much jealousy that they made some lies up about me, leaders, to get me temporarily suspended from the Speakers Bureau. Okay. Which today I consider a great compliment. Anyway, it all ended well. So how did I get there? Well, I went to different network marketing companies. So in addition to going to a Saturday seminar for Market America for about a year before I got on the speaking circuit, I went to Mary Kay, I went to Amway, I went to A.L. Williams, and I'd hear these great speakers and they'd pour their hearts out and people would laugh and they'd cry. And I asked dozens and dozens. I'd leave right when they were the speaker was doing the closing thing, and I had my clipboard. When you have a clipboard, you get away with basically anything. It's quite an amazing thing about human nature, right? People think you're an official. And people would come out and I'd ask 10, 20, 30, as many as I can, how did you enjoy it? Oh, it was amazing. It was, and can you tell me what your job is? In 4 years of doing that, anybody know? I probably asked 600-700 people over 4 years after hearing a seminar what the job is. Anybody want to take a guess at how many people knew what the job was?
None of them.
Correct. 0. Not one. Not one.
Whoa.
Did not know what the job was. Crazy, right? So here's the thing you need to know about adults. Adults have an aversion to failing, being criticized, or being embarrassed. So you want to create one-on-one trainings that coach reps from point of view. If you add colors in one-on-ones, it's killer. If it feels safe to the rep to move forward with your suggestions, you get them to engage in the behavior. And then we know, Christine, from what I've already said, you do what? You reward the behavior. Reward the behavior. Don't focus on results. If we do that, we build. Can you mute everybody, Laura? I got it. I found it. Okay. And we build teams that build these. So you're wondering, how do I do it? Well, leverage rocks. What does that mean? Even though you're learning something new, if you learn it, the 5 presentations that we put up at the beginning, it's the same with everything. One-on-ones, small groups, big groups, Zoom, living rooms, hotels, auditoriums. It's the same. You're always presenting. Whenever you see this guy, we're shifting gears. This is compressed learning, which I invented at its finest. You're learning more than you think you know, and we proved it to you this morning when we brought you through color code, which you learned 2 days ago, and you all crushed it. Same example, different application. So grab a new distributor training and work as a group. you know, why is that person there? So now we're at Katie's spot. She's enrolled them, and you set up that first coaching session within 24 hours. I try to go for the same day, because what's going on, Christine? This is going to be amazing. It's going to change my life. It's going to change the world of my family. You're a loser. These things never work. I'm going to kill this thing. You don't have any time to do it. One of those two voices is going to win. Which one is going to win? The one you feed. And more than likely, Alberto's, they're going to talk to a couple of people. They just joined this thing. It's unbelievable. And those people are going to urinate on their parade, and you're done. Okay? So I say, listen, you're going to want to talk to people. Don't talk to anybody, but listen instead. Because people only talk about three things: the weather, how bad things are, and how bad things are going to be. And wait for them to get to how bad things are going to be and ask them this question. This is how I recruit. Would you like to do something about it? And if they say, what do you mean? Or how can you do something about it? Say, hey, man, you got to, I met this guy. I caught the break of a lifetime. You got to meet him and set up a three-way, and you're done. But still, they would talk to people. So what do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? You're going to design a new distributor training, right? And remember your role. Why are you there? Are you there to inform, demonstrate, inspire, or influence? Anyone is fine. Okay? Anyone is fine. Me, I want to influence them to engage in the next behavior. That's all. I'm just after the next. That's reds are all about progress. Whatever you want to do is fine. Okay? So you're going to go into rooms, you're going to put it together. Okay? And so grab a clean sheet, take the best ideas and appropriate when we get back. So why is the new person here? What do I want them to think, feel, say, and do? So you're going to do the same thing you did before, only you've just signed this person up, and it's your first coaching session with them. What do you want them to think, feel, say, and do? Okay? Got it? Great. Okay. Let's just
Find her.
You want him back?
No, I think we're killing it.
You're really doing a great job.
Where are we?
You mean time? What do you mean? We're about ready to have them do their own new distributor training.
They're doing it
After
now.
the- Well, yeah, no. They're doing one together right now.
Yeah. But I don't have the rest, the rest of the pages are here. How many more pages do we have to go?
Oh, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So we need to cap the sharing here.
Yeah, you got 17 more slides, I think. 4, 5, 6, 7. 16 more slides to the end. Once we come back and have them do their own. You okay?
Yeah, then it's just a flyer, right?
Yeah, then it's the next slide is it worked.
You know,
pretty well.
are we ahead or behind last year at this point? Ballpark.
Mark. I don't have a timestamp on this, actually.
Okay, that's fine. I just realized I'm aiming like it's 4 hours and allowed for way too much sharing, but that's good. Fine.
Yeah, you're aiming for 4. Well, you're gonna do fine.
No. No, I realized I was doing the wrong thing and then for 4.
Oh,
Because they'll have more questions at the end of this one.
yeah.
I'll pick up the pace a little bit.
Well,
I'm gonna look at this.
you okay? Mandy said to me, "Hey, Lori, if you're putting us in the same group, please don't. Only Thor and I worked together before. Michael was a problem."
Michael who?
I think it was Kissinger. She said Michael was a know-it-all.
Is Michael Kissinger here?
Mm-hmm.
Kick him out. When he comes back, kick him out. I don't want him in here.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
She said he was a know-it-all ass, is what she said. So she asked not to be in there. He's in a group though with Carolyn, Ched, Nancy, and Philippe.
You come back.
He's not supposed to get our email, so he may be picking it up somewhere else.
When he comes back, don't make anything out of it. Just kick him out of the Zoom. And if he tries to get back in, just don't let him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been using me and Master Key Experience as himself as a Master Key coach. He's a leech.
Oh, wow. That's too bad.
We recording right now?
Yeah. Davine's got to click that. You're muted, Davine.
The only thing is we are live on YouTube.
Wow.
I want him out.
Yeah, that's fine. You're fine. You have every right. I agree. Someone basically steals all your material, reproduces it, and then tries to sell it is not a good person. So,
Right.
Yep.
Okay, they're coming back in a minute.
Thank you.
I had fun in my breakout room.
Hey, Wayno. Wayno.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Not too bad for an old fella. I'm 76, man. I'm above ground and taking nourishment. That's 2 wins. I'll take as many wins as I can get at this point.
Absolutely.
Is this helpful for you?
Yeah, it's tougher than I thought, but it's an eye opener, a very big eye opener, because I tend to, being a blue, get too detailed and too complicated with stuff, and it turns a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. Okay. So
Still coming in.
Saying that maybe if we can, oh, are we back? Oh, sorry.
We're back.
Eagerly commit to practice the steps. What about that, Brian?
I think that that's a good, I think that, we want to, I think it has to.
Okay, we're all muted.
Okay. So we did this. Okay. Let's see where we. Okay, so you just did this. And there's a couple ways to look at it. We weren't real clear about it. That's a methodology of teaching so that you could figure out which one you're at, which is really kind of cool. So what you want to do, we'll share what people have. Okay, we'll share a few people of what they have. If anybody wants to share what they did, we'd love to hear that. And again, we're going to do the same thing, think, feel, say, do. And they might be at a different stage as what they thought a new distributor training was. That's perfectly okay. Focus on the pattern. Once you learn this pattern, like a lot of times I'll be coming in the door, you know, I used to say to Devine all the time, oh, I got a really great idea. And she'd go into, okay, more work for me. When then I started to present it a different way. Okay. Hey, I found something that I think will help a lot more people. Because, you know, with Devine, right? She's a blue. She wants to help other people. So I'm going to leverage that, right? And what I wanted to do was get on board with what I was doing anyway. You get the general idea. You're picking up a pattern here. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? You're always so dressed so dramatically, and you just light up the whole room. So glad you're feeling better. Katie, what do you got for us? Hey, it's not fair to the world when that angelic voice is muted.
Okay, so we want them to think, I can do this. So that belief is still high there. For them to feel supported, to say, I'm so inspired, I've already got names that are just piling up in my head. Let's make some calls right now.
Great. Great. That's simple.
Nailed it. That's it right there.
Right. Now, I'll tell you what I did as a red is mine was fun. You'll see Davine's and mine in a few minutes. But basically, as a red, I'm going to send them, I'm going to say you can learn more about the product here if they even ask about it. But usually when they'd ask me, I'd say, well, wait until when your product gets there and you're on it for a few days, then we'll talk about it. If you really need information now, I'll send you a link. I want to get in a conversation because I want to focus on one thing, right? My goal for everybody particularly when I was with product companies, is I wanted to get their initial investment out. I wanted to get their auto ship covered for the next month. And I wanted them to earn an extra $100 for their wife, husband, or whatever, because their spouse or their partner is also making a sacrifice, okay, of time, availability. Wayne, what do you got? Great job, Katie.
Thank you.
You're picking it up. I can see that. You got it. Now it's just a question of experimenting, and you'll know. What do you got, Wayno?
All right, as a group, we said we want people to think this is the work or the opportunity they want to do. They feel they know how to do this work, and they say that they're yet to stay, and let's go and do this now.
Really great. You might want to get more specific in the do this now. Do what? Like Katie said, let's make 3-way calls.
Make calls, yeah.
Mine would be build a list and schedule the first calling appointment. Okay. But just a little more specific, but you're picking up the pattern. Now we're into just the refining. I'm so happy that you guys are picking this up. You're picking it up. I hope you're starting to feel that. What didn't make sense, and probably saying, why are we talking about this? I thought they were going to yesterday. I thought they were going to tell us how to build a presentation. Because now, Wayne, when you're with someone that's a blue, you're going to actually have the same think, feel, say, do, you're just going to frame it slightly differently. Just a few blue phrases or words and all, that's what makes them feel supported, which is why I want their color. Okay. What do you got, Brian?
I think I like supportive. I want them to feel supported. I want them to think that it's definitely something that they can achieve and be successful at. The same one I challenged with this. We had challenged with what I want them to say, but what I want them to do is I want them to commit to a certain schedule or a calendar, like book their calendar or set aside days that they can commit to doing the things they need to do in the business.
Yep. One of the things that I will tell you that I did wrong. What color are you, Brian?
I'm white.
Okay. One of the things that I did wrong in the beginning was I would bring you into the business and I'd set up a calendar for you for 2 weeks, and it overwhelmed people, which is why I then changed to never get off the phone without scheduling the next goal advancing or income producing activity, just one at a time. Just instead of schedule, I would just go and schedule the next session.
Second from the right lane.
Does that make sense? That's okay.
Road 12.
Well, Siri certainly knows what she wants you to say, think, feel, and do. Okay.
I'm sorry.
She's learning.
Brian.
All
Brian,
good, no worries.
it's a great job, Brian. And so listen to other people and steal the best say. Okay, because I know you said you had trouble with the say. Brian, what do you got?
All right. I want them to think, or our group, want them to think that they've made the correct decision. We would like to feel that they can do this. We'd like them to say that they are ready to follow the plan, and we would like them to get on the phone, call people right then.
Yeah, beautiful. One of the things that I'm hearing a lot is people feel that they can do this. Remember, that was one of the keys, Patricia, in Think, Feel, Say, Do around the opportunity. You've got to remember they've joined as you're putting this together, which doesn't mean that you shouldn't have it in there to reinforce it. However, I'm going to move forward as if they do believe. I want to bring their belief level someplace different, is that they believe in the team, the support that they're getting. So it's something to think about. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. And I'm not being wishy-washy about it. I'm saying that from a red point of view, they joined. They wouldn't have joined if they didn't think they could do it. Maybe confirm that they can do this. Because if you have that in there in the Think, Feel, Say, Do about the business opportunity presentation, then this one you might want that confirmed. Okay. Wow, this is simpler than I thought. Right? Might be one of the things. What do you got, Peter Barr? Good job, Brian. Okay. Both Brians are nailing it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we came up with, for think, I've made the right decision. Feel, confident in understanding what we are doing and teaching people. Say, I can sell this. And do, learn how to talk to people.
Good. 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 It's a little ambitious, but that's good. Because you'll find out if it's too big a push. Okay. Because don't forget, this here, when on a new distributor training, I'm with them on the phone, right, for their first coaching session. I want to spend about 4 or 5 minutes. The rest of the time, I'm going to build a list and schedule time to make calls with them. Okay. So again, it's so important that you understand that sometimes the most important presentation is a little 2-minute presentation that you make. And I'll give you a do. Let me give you an example. I want Peter to make 3 ways, and he's been resistant, okay? So I know Peter wants to go on a summer vacation on that lake, right? An extended summer vacation. So listen for the think, feel, say, and do in this. So Peter, let's role play this out. And let's say Peter's been resistant to it. So can you unmute, Peter?
Absolutely.
This is the same format, but notice how, even though it's short, Carl, it hits the point. okay, of what do I want them to think, feel, say, and do. Hey, Peter, you got 2 minutes for a quick update here?
Yeah, I've got 2 minutes.
Okay, so look, Peter, when you joined, I know that you wanted to take extended vacations at that lake every summer. Okay. And the reality is there's two types of people that join Acme. Some of them get to take extended vacations and have a lot of fun, and some of them don't. Would it be okay if I told you what the difference is between the two?
Please, I'd love to know.
Well, here's the thing, Peter. You see, everybody knows the objective of our business is to have teams that are building teams without you. So in other words, you have one team that goes from 20 to 30 and another one that goes from 40 to 60. And those 30 new people that came in, you didn't have anything to do with it. They came in the right way and they're starting to produce. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, everybody knows you'll never build a team if you won't be part of a team. So the ones that got to take those extended vacations and have a blast with their family, as well as some solitude in the forest and in the water, they made three-way calls with their up team. The ones that never got to go on vacation, they did it their own way. Peter, which of the two groups do you see yourself moving forward?
I want to be taking those extended vacations, but to do that, I need to make those three-way calls.
Right. Well, what would be easier for you? For us to call some people you know, or for you to be on the phone and listen to how much fun and gentle it is and I'll call some of my people. What would be easier for you?
Oh, I think it would be pretty much easier to listen to you and see, kind of get the idea of how to do things.
Great. So you'll listen in on 5 of mine and you'll be the third person on the phone. And then we'll call 5 of yours. That makes sense?
Yes.
Folks, that is a presentation. What do I want him to think, feel, say, and do? Right? I want him to make three-way calls. He's a yellow, so I linked fun in there a couple of times, right? Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just a little touch of color in there. And basically what happened was I created what? The opportunity to make a what? What's a distributor's job? To collect
decisions.
And I got him to make a decision. But guess what? Since whites and yellows don't want to be controlled and reds and blues want control, I gave him control after explaining the consequences. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. And that's turned more people than you can shake a stick at. Okay. And it works for everybody, whether it's building a list, going to the convention, or whatever. Christine, Pat, Quinlan.
Hi. Okay. We came up with, I think I can build a healthy business. I can train others to build a healthy business. I dream and know this works. I say that I can imagine what people think, say, feel, and do. Having a positive mindset, positive expectations, and success, and I can share this. That's what I want them to say. I feel that I have hope and confidence and positive expectation for this and supported every step of the way. To do, I can learn the color code. I can develop a list. I can set up three-way calls, and I can schedule the next session, and I can rinse and repeat.
Yeah. All that is great. Just pare it down.
Pare it down.
Just pare it down. It's all wonderful. It's all wonderful. It's just going to be overwhelming their first time.
Okay.
Okay. Now, with you, you might be able to get away with it because you're so much fun. Okay. And you're so positive and everything. But you got to remember they're starting. And when they start, they're going to have self-doubt and that. And so sometimes baby steps is a great way. However, do 5 your way and 5 of the scaled down version and then just follow the money. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
Can I just tell you something as a side note? You've inspired me with think, say, feel, and do, because I'm writing a song right now and I've been stuck and I want to be able to put myself in the person's perspective. So I'm going to utilize think, feel, say, and do as it relates to my song that I'm working on.
That's awesome.
Which is a presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, we're
Thank
always
you.
we're always
That's cool.
presenting. Okay, so we did that, you filled one out. So now what you want to do is take a minute, you filled one out for your own team, which is great. It's worked pretty well for us. If I follow the direction thing, go ahead, Lori.
No, go ahead. You pulled these together, Mark. I think it's great.
Yeah, what do I want him to think? If I follow the directions, I'll succeed. What do I want him to say? I know what to do next. Because when I'm done with the call, I'm going to say to Peter, are you clear on what you're supposed to do next? And I want him to say yes. What do I want him to feel? Confident and supported that he's actually getting hands-on help. He didn't get plugged into, some website that's going to tell him what to do. And what do I want him to do? Show up for the next coaching session where we build a list, or show up for the next, that's good. The do is the variable. Because every time I'm with Peter, I'm making either a 1 or 2 minute presentation, which I've said many, many times. Sorry if it's annoyed you, but sometimes, and it's absolutely true, the most important presentations are the little 1 or 2 minute presentation, and we don't think that we're making a presentation.
Right.
Because remember what we told you yesterday or Monday, until Peter's making $1,500 a month, he's a prospect. Even though he's a distributor and signed up and earning checks, I still see him as a grade A prospect. He's not a prospect anymore when he knows what to do and he can do it without me. Then he's a distributor that's building a team, So the do is the variable, whether it's to show up on the first coaching session, which on that one, of course, I would have told him we never get off the phone without scheduling the next activity. Now, in the first coaching session, after we build the list, I'm going to say, Peter, do you remember? And this is a test of me, not you. Always do that, a test of me, not you. Do you remember the last thing we do before we get off the phone? He's going to say, yeah, we make calls, say, man, and always tell him this, you're picking this up faster than most people. If he doesn't get it right, say, that's on me. We never get off the phone without scheduling the next activity. So let's do that now. And of course, I'm going to schedule an activity. And what is that? We're going to make calls because there's nothing else to do in this business. Okay. Anyway, so we already talked about how to get them to make three-way calls. I demonstrated that with Peter. So why is the new person here? What do I want them to think, feel, say, and do? We promised you'd build presentations. We're going back to step 1 on engaging reps. So take the best ideas and fill them out for your team. New rep training, this worked really well for us. If I let them help me, I'll learn what to do to whatever. Fire my boss, get my husband out of the dead end job. What do I want them to say? I introduce you. I've done it my whole life. What do I want them to feel? Confident, supported. What do I want them to do? Schedule time to make the calls and expand the list with me. It's the same thing over and over and over. Okay. So how do we present the business? We incorporated the keys to the vault, the hero's journey. That's their story, not yours, not your company's. The influencer, behaviors, not results, color code, hit all 4 in a group presentation, right? Research. If you're a fan of all of our stuff, we always suggest staying away from planned product company. Once we know 3 things, the 3 things in their head and the likelihood of type of hero, all you have to do is not talk them out of it when they come to the presentation, Brian. So person's kind of excited about firing their boss, and you're giving them the history of water. There's no connection for them. Okay. I was with a company that set the record for first, second, and third year sales domestic product moved in the United States, a company called Zango. Anybody want to hear my product presentation about Zango, which was a juice? Yeah.
Go for it.
The fascinating thing about Zango, the juice, is that the multiple things it hits in the health scale. Try it. I think you'll like it. That's all I said about the product. Try it. I think you'll like it. There's a money back guarantee even on empty bottles. That's it. That's it. We did 50 million the first year, 190 the second, 350 the third, all records. Nobody's died. Try it. I think you'll like it. Okay. All right. What type of hero? We did 5,000 question. We showed you this the other day. It's really important to come back to it. There were 10,000 people surveyed altogether who never did MLM or failed. They were considering it, but never did it, or they had failed. I believe the most important factor in succeeding in MLM, and if you don't like the phrase MLM and you want to call it networking, or you want to pretend, I am working with a wonderful company, a Dow actually, and you know, a lot of them have in their head we're not network marketing, so they're telling people that, which of course brings the idea in play in the first place, right? It's one of those weird things. But anyway, I was just saying to people, I'm in networking. You might notice multi-level marketing. Peter, you're not prejudiced, are you? There's not a white man in the world that's going to say, yeah, I'm prejudiced. Say, great. Let me show you what I have. Okay. Yeah. Leverage human nature. Look at 1.3% think the company, 0.8% think the pay plan, 1.3% think the product. So we're talking about a total of 3.4% of 10,000 people surveyed think the plan, partner, company has anything to do with their success. 96+% believe they think that will make them successful is the skills to market myself, 14%, and learning the skills to market myself and having that mind demonstrate hands-on. So what do you think my presentation and Davine's presentation was about? And you saw me do it today with our beautiful French friend. She said, oh, it was wonderful. We felt so supported in the heart and everything. And guess what? Now you want to come to Kauai. You don't even know what it's about and you're ready to come. Why? Okay. Having an upline make initial calls to my prospects so I could learn what to say and do would be fantastic and make me feel supported. What are the 3 things adults don't want to feel? They don't want to feel failed, criticized, or be embarrassed. So this was one of the big parts of it. We were talking to what? Our reluctant hero. This, not what's in the product, not how great the compensation plan is. By the way, just as an aside, I would love to hear a network marketing presentation that went like this. Our product's pretty good. The pay plan, it's probably middle of the pack. I mean, how can every network marketing company say, we have the best plan, the best product, and the best company, and there you are doing the same thing, and you're wondering why people don't believe you? Okay, take a look at this, right? This is getting your reluctant hero, which Lori told you already, one of the key motifs in the hero's journey, and you saw it in Skywalker. You saw it, look at in Star Wars and The Matrix, and I know I said this, but it bears repeating. These are not movies, these are documentaries. Google Hero's Journey Matrix or Hero's Journey Star Wars on YouTube, right? And it'll blow your mind. They're documentaries. And what happened in both movies? The hero refused the call initially. And your prospect is going to refuse the call unless you know what the refusal is about. When they tell you time and money, they're lying and trying not to hurt your feelings. As my wife likes to say, you have to realize when you're actually talking about with someone about this, you might be the last person on the planet that tells them the truth about the economic situation that they're facing as they age, and that you have a solution, especially in today's world. You have a moral obligation to share your opportunity with people, because they're going to need a backup plan, believe me. Yeah, so this is Hero's Journey, is they want to hear 3-way calls.
Absolutely. So this is Davine's step 2 mission or meeting mission. When she's doing a step 2 biz up. So when it's over, what did she want her step 2 business opportunity attendees, right, to think? Well, I've been doing this my whole life. What did she want them to say?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Why did Davine come up with that? By the way, steal ours if you want. take one or two lines and put them in for yours or keep your own, it doesn't matter. But why?
Anybody?
Anybody? Why is this first on Davine's list?
So it comes across as natural.
You're
Takes
close.
fear of away.
What do people do under stress?
Revert back
Well,
to
they
what's
talk too
familiar.
much.
Revert
They
to
talk too much.
what?
There you go.
Revert to what's familiar. So what did she make? What did she want to make it seem that they were looking at? Familiar. That's some unbelievable thing that they've never heard of before. I'm working with this wonderful group of people in this company, and their biggest challenge in their presentations is that it's different than everything else.
Yeah.
It's unfamiliar. What are people more likely to move forward with? What's familiar or unfamiliar, Roland? Obviously familiar, right?
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. She wants them to say, can I tell my friends? Right? And feel confident. Look at, there's the word, familiar with network marketing, that they know what to do. Why familiar? They've been doing it their whole life. They just haven't been getting paid for it. And what does she want them to do? Join. Bottom line, get started, right?
Yep.
So if you violate the bear rule, which we are going to cover later, and this is huge, you got to go back to step one, because she will not have gotten them confident and feeling familiar. Instead, they'd be confused and unable to make a decision, because confused people don't commit. Right?
Yep. What are the three things in a prospect's head?
Yeah, the three things in a prospect head. So do you think that it's about well, Mark already talked about it, talking about product plan in the company like we always did, or the three things in their head? Notice how the prospect does this all for themselves, and it makes it then believable and believe. This is really key.
Right. The three things in their head are, can I make any money? What would I have to do? Can I do it?
Yeah, it's on the next one. I gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so let's review. Professionals, pros build their presentation around this strategy. What do I want my attendees to think, feel, say, and do, as well as understanding what Mark just said, what goes through the prospect's head. That's all it is that they're thinking about, those three things. Okay. So why do reps come to a training after they get started? Well, they want to learn what to say and do. Okay. So they answered the call. They want to take that journey. So really, really, it comes down to you. It's on you to be that helper and mentor and give them that feeling of confidence. All decisions about what goes in or out of your presentation have to be made with respect to this strategy and the objective. What do I want them to think, feel, say, and do? All of them in every single presentation you ever make. All right. From starting the business, trying to get your teenager to take out the trash, trying to convince your spouse why you should golf twice a week instead of once, all of them, same thing. Okay.
One more time. Step one, the strategy. We talked about what? Lori explained it beautifully. The magic is in the sequence. And it begins with the mission, not the content, not the outline, not the close, the mission. What do I want them to think, feel, say, and do? And there it is again, 1 or 20,000 people, which have done both. And they're the same. We improve what we measure. Applause are great, but did they do what you wanted them to do, Kate? And did they do it successfully? Now, if they did what you wanted them to do and it wasn't as successful, then Kate knows what to do. She gets in and she shows them hands-on what to do. And she does it with them. She does it with them. Duplication's a really weird thing. Think about, I mean, Saturday seminars don't double in size. The speakers pour their hearts out about duplication all day. You're laughing, you're crying and cheering and everything else, and they don't double. And conference calls grow a little bit at first, and then they just kind of level off, same amount of people all the time. Why is that? Because duplication can't be taught. It's caught. And the way you do it is you do it with them. It's show and tell. So did they do what you wanted them to do? And did they do it successfully is the measure. If they did it, well, then you got someone you can work with. If Roland didn't do it, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have the conversation like I had with Peter, two types of people, blah, blah, blah. You know, who do you want to move forward with here? If Peter did it, I'm gonna say, you know, I struggled with that too, Peter. You know what was really a lot of fun for me was improving a little bit. Let's do it together a couple of times. That's it. Okay. So pop quiz.
Yeah,
Should we
type in
use
the box.
jargon, true or false? Jargon is okay, true or false?
False. Absolutely false.
Absolutely false. Good job. Okay. This is a test of us, by the way, not you.
Right.
This,
Why is it?
this, Roland, I'm trying to see if we communicated what we tried to. Understanding what to do will build confidence, and ease fear is important because adults don't want to feel what 3 things.
Type it in. There we go. Nancy's got one.
Players get paid, spectators pay to watch players play. So type it in or type in I don't know. Well, ashamed is a little strong. Embarrassed, criticized, or failure. Good job, Wayne.
Nice. That's right.
There you go.
There you go. Together.
Good job by Wayne. Embarrassed, criticized, or fail. It's right in your notes. Okay. So now Lori and I will go back and see this one you guys didn't score well on, and we'll do a better job with it. You're always, Albert, you're always experimenting by doing what we told you. What do great influencers do? This is one that's not in there. What do great influencers do? They do 3 things. Number 1 thing they do. They measure.
Yeah.
They measure. So we're measuring, I'm measuring which ones you're getting right. Okay?
That's right.
What are
Well,
the three things in the prospect said? Go ahead.
You
Lori.
skipped you didn't think you asked him for the answer that
Oh, yeah,
actually
yeah.
comes about it. It's easier
Yeah.
for a new rep to do the job if they know what. Type it in.
What the job is.
Nice, Vicente.
Insane thing.
Good job. That's right. Okay.
And the
What
3
are the,
things.
yeah, go ahead. What are they?
No, Pat Cole, needs to be corrected. She says steps to take. No, it's what the job is. It's easier to do the job if they know what the job is. These things that seem like, yeah, Mark, that's obvious. You need to make it obvious to people, Albert. So Rodriguez, while you're right, it's not in a language that's going to create that simplicity of communication with your team. It's easier for a new rep to do the job if they know what the job is, which we told you American corporations spend more money.
This last one we just went over, Mark did, like just a minute ago.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Vicente's got it.
Vincente. Can I make money? What do I have to do? Can I do it? And always remember, they can't decide, Brian, whether or not they can do it unless they know what they'd have to do. So guess what we built into business presentations? What they'd have to do. Okay. Why is the audience here? You're here to build a presentation, and to do that, we want you to engage in exercises and continue to instruct your own. Continue to steal. It's okay to appropriate. You already have, for all situations, the right starting point. And where do we always start? Think, feel, say, and do. Think, feel, say, and do. Over and over and over again until, Roland, it moves from intellectual information that makes sense to this is a little tricky to I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better. Remember, I told you most people suck at most things and everybody sucks at everything. The first few times they try it. But if you'll just stay with it and think, feel. So you make a presentation to your wife about why you should be able to play golf twice this weekend, and it goes in the crapper. And, and she says, no, don't look that she said no. Say, did I figure out what I want her to think, feel, say, and do?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't. Now, it doesn't matter if you now you go back and you make that presentation in your head. It wouldn't matter if she said no, as long as you start to pick up the pattern, because once you do, you're going to find something wonderful out, Albert. What are you going to find out? You won't have to talk about transparency or integrity anymore, because you can't get them to think, feel, say, and do what you want them to do if you're out of integrity. It eliminates tricks and traps. And this is what people are attracted to. There's so much bullshit out there. Okay. So what's next? So Thursday, this would
Friday.
be Friday. That would
Yeah.
be Friday. So let me change that.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is Friday. Friday's so fun. We're going to build the close and the opening. Okay. And then Saturday is the outline and the bear rule and structure, which is the biggest mistake I've seen in presenting in 35 years, and I still see it. And it's a disaster. And you know what? It's so simple not to do that. So simple. Okay. So let's review the keys to the vault. This is what creates transformative. In other words, that change, that billionth of a volt. Yes, Albertos, it's going to take some observation and practice. Okay. But the foundation is hero's journey, influencer, and color code. The main thing about influencer, behaviors, not results, behaviors, not results. Okay. Talk to them in a language they understand if you're going one-on-one. Presentations, we're always presenting. Stop and think. Never do anything unless you know why you're doing it. In all presentations, we want the group, our audience. So I'll tell you a story. They asked me to speak at the Zango convention, the big international convention. It was a big convention, over 1 million distributors, not at the convention. But anyway, and so I'm talking to them and I said, you guys don't sell out your events. I said, I'll tell you what, when's the morning session? And they said, well, we want you to speak. When's the morning session end on Friday? And they said noon. I said, all right, give me 11:15 to noon. Okay. And I will sell out your next event. We've never sold out an event. You know, we're always scrambling. I said, I will sell the event out if you'll give me the, well, we want you to close on Saturday afternoon. I said, do you want me to close because I'm going to knock it out of the park? Or do you want to sell out your next event? So they said, we want to sell the next event. But we don't. I said, but you don't think you can do it, which is why you're hesitating. So yeah, they just give me the stage for 45 minutes and I will sell out the next event. At 11:45, before I was done, the next event was sold out. It was sold out. Most tickets that they ever sold. You know what it was? I knew what I wanted the audience to think, feel, say, and do. That's all it was. That's all it was. They basically said very little that hadn't been said before. But it's not me, and it's not how dynamic I can be or can't be on stage or anything. It's all presentations is based on what you want them to think, feel, say, and do. People were running out of the convention. They were running out because they want to get in line to buy tickets before I was even done. My wife's laughing upstairs. She was there. She saw it. It was amazing. Okay. So if anybody's got any questions that we can help them with, I know we went over a lot of material today. In your mind, it really isn't, but I know it's different, and different can feel like overwhelm, like Peter's going like this. The truth is, here's what you don't know. Here's what you know that you don't know that you know. Okay. The good presentations where you did something after the presentation that you didn't think you were going to do. All right, I'm going to go look at this thing, but I'm not joining. And you join, they hit the think, feel, say, and do. And other things that you were sort of optimistic about but didn't do, they talked you out of it because they didn't know think, feel, say, and do. I'm telling you right now, believe it or not, Nancy, believe it or not, Peter, Hector, believe it or not, Patricia, believe it or not, Carl, you already know what I just taught you. You just don't know that you know it. This is not revolutionary. The problem with networking and entrepreneurship is here's the decimal point is way up here. And because we've been trained, the more money you make, the harder it is. This, particularly networking and direct sales, are so simple, a moron can do it. This guy, the problem is the people that put this stuff together have confused income with difficulty. This guy here, W. Clement Stone, I'm going to say it again, I'll give you the short version. The only insurance company ever to sell $1 billion a whole life in any 5-year period. And they did it in their first 5 years. But Carl, here's the amazing thing. We couldn't sell a policy for more than $2,400. You know how many policies you have to sell at $2,400 to hit $1 billion? And you know how long the sales pitch was? 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutes to get Alvateros to sign his name on a piece of paper to agree to pay a premium for the rest of his life. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And that pitch, when I went over it, once I knew better and went back after I learned this stuff, I went to it and W. Clement Stone had it. That policy, that presentation puts people in the hero's journey. That's it. What do I want them to think? Wow, this is a bargain. What do I want them to feel? I'm taking care of my family. What do I want them to say? Can I get more members of the family for the same policy? What do I want them to do? Buy the policy. Amazing. 4 minute pitch. 4 minute pitch. That's why when I went to Mutual in New York, it was like, I went with my manager who became my business mentor. I had just gone to work for him. He said, hey, I'm going to go with you on these he said, I know you got a couple of appointments. I said, all right, but you're not going to say anything, right? He said, well, I said, just let me die on my own. Okay. I want to show you what I do because I think what you're teaching there is bullshit, right? So we go in, we're 3 minutes in. I pulled out the application and gave the guy a pen. I said, I'm going to take a leap, fill that out. And we get back out in the car and Ron said to me, how did you do that? I said, how long are your presentations? He said, 35 minutes. I said, why? The guy was sold before we got there. That's why he gave me the appointment. So when they're coming, what's the application for you? Is this me bragging about myself, Chuck? No. And they're showing up at the presentation. If you do what we did with Miriam and drop them in the hero's journey, they're coming to join. So don't talk them out of it. I'd be happy to show you how I explain the marketing plan. If anybody wants to see that. After 1997, I never showed anybody a marketing plan. If you've been with your company more than 2 years, they've probably changed the marketing plan, which tells you what? Even companies that create them don't understand them. Why would a prospect? And two, one of the three things they want to know is how does the marketing plan work? I don't think so. So the problem is people explain in network marketing how the marketing plan works. That's the problem. They just want to know what. See, you think it's about numbers. It isn't. It's about time leverage. And once I realized, Carl, I was in the time leverage business, it got pretty easy. Got pretty easy. And in 3 slides, you can neutralize all their objections, explain how you get paid, intentionally start to raise the sales filter a little bit, Doc, and then knock the sales filter down. And when you do, trust goes up, and I can't remember who said it. I think it was Brian said it. Pull out no, I think it was Nancy. Pull out their credit card and join. Was it you, Nancy, that said that? Yeah. So, and use the same explanation of how you make money in networking with 5 different companies 5 different pay plans. Never explained the pay plan. Now, did they have some whites rolling that wanted to know all the details? Yeah. They say here, you know, whites, you can't close a white, but you can close them on the next appointment. Just keep getting them more information. They say, seem like a pain, but the reality was when a white joins, they will stay with you. Why? They did their research and they know that they made the right decision for themselves. So if anybody wants to see that, I'll be happy to show that to you. Anybody have any questions? Everybody's good? School's out.
Nice one.
Appreciate you guys so much. Peace and love. We'll see
Good
you
job,
Friday. Ciao, Bella.
All right.
Incredible.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
Great night.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.